Waiting. So, and we are live. Live. Out to the world. Like Frankenstein. And refreshing. It's little lightning, you know, just jolt things up, get it rolling. Hey, we're live. Hey, Dr. Welsh. Welcome, welcome. Multitasking. Attaboy. I do that all the time. We have Mr. Infamous Aquatic on the line. Driving as always. As a good man does. Yep. So I think Nick is going to join us in a little bit as well. Me and him are actually getting some good conversations about waterflow and stuff last night, so I decided to pick a topic for the stream today. Oh yeah, he's a great guy. Nick is going to join us in a little bit as well. Me and him are actually getting some good conversations
Dave Roberts.
about
Hey Dave,
waterflow
how
and
are
stuff
you?
last night, so I decided to pick a topic for the stream
Welcome,
today.
welcome.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. Nick is going to join us in a little bit as well. Me and him are actually getting some good
Dave Roberts.
just kind of
Dave,
snuck
how
you
are
into
ya?
there. So I decided to pick a topic for the stream
Welcome,
today.
welcome.
Yep. Oh
So
yeah,
I
he's a
think
great guy. Nick is gonna join us.
All right, Dr. Welsh, behave.
Dave
Roberts.
just kind of
Dave,
snuck
how
you
are
into
ya?
there. Gave him a wrench.
Welcome, welcome.
Yep. So for today, yeah, last night we were getting some pretty intense
All right,
talks
Dr.
about
Welsh,
flow
behave.
and how much flow you actually need on a tank,
Snuck you into
and the types of flow. Gave him a wrench. I know, like with a softy tank, for instance, you know, you can get away with like 15, for today, 20 yeah, times last per night we hour, were or getting a some mixed pretty reef. intense You kind of want to be in that flow and how much flow you need to 30 and an SPS tank, you know, 40 to 50. So it's kind of that balancing act of like what with a kind of softy flow and tank, different for things. instance, you know, you can get away with like
So
15,
for today,
so
yeah,
that's kind of
last
one
night
part.
we were
I've had a lot of people ask me
pretty
about it, so I
intense
figured it'd be a good
flow
topic
and how
for
much
today.
flow you
40 to
actually need on a
30
tank,
and an SPS tank, you know,
types of
40 to
flow.
50. So it's kind of that balancing act of what kind of flow and different things.
You know, you can get away with
Yeah.
like 15,
So that's
20
kind of one
times per
part.
hour,
I've had a
or
lot of people ask
pretty
me about it, so I
intense
figured it'd be a good
flow
topic
and how
for
much
today.
flow you
40
actually
to
need
30
on a tank,
and an SPS tank, you know,
That's
40
the
to 50.
echo.
All right,
So it's
give me
kinda
one
that
sec,
balancing
DC. I'll
act
make
of
sure I
what
get
kind
rid of
of
that.
flow
I have an
different
idea what it is. Yeah.
So for today,
So that's kind of one part. I've had a lot of people ask me
pretty
about it, so I
intense
figured it'd be a good
flow
topic
and how
for
much
today.
flow you actually need on a
30
tank,
and an SPS tank, you know,
That's
40
the
to 50.
echo.
All right, give me one sec,
Balancing
DC. I'll
act
make
of
sure I
what
get
kind
rid of
of
that.
flow
I have an
different
idea what it is. Yeah.
So for today,
So that's
yeah,
kind of one
last
part.
night we were
I've had a lot of people ask me
very
about it, so I figured
echoey.
it'd be a good topic for today. 30 and an SPS tank, you know,
That's
40
the
to
echo.
50. All right, give me one sec,
Seconds to
DC. I'll
adjust my
make sure I
mic.
get rid of that. I have an idea what it is. Yeah. So that's kind of one part. I've had a lot of people ask me
Very
about it, so I figured
echoey.
it'd be a good topic for today.
So is it still echoey?
That's the echo. All right, give me one sec, DC. I'll make sure I get rid of that. I have an idea what it is. Yeah. So that's kind of one part. I've had a lot of people ask me
Very
about it, so I figured
echoey.
it'd be a good topic for today.
So is it still echoey?
That's the echo. All right, give me one sec, DC. I'll make
All
sure I
right,
get
so
rid
in
of
the
that.
chat,
I
just
have
let
an
me know
idea
if
what
it's
it
still
is.
super echoey.
Yeah.
If it is, I will see what I can do.
Very echoey.
So is it still echoey?
Okay.
How about in
All
the
right,
YouTube
so in
chat?
the
Is it
chat, just
still
let me know
echoey?
if it's still super echoey.
If it
I'm on a
is, I
different
will see what
computer
I can
today,
do.
so it may not be 100% set up the same.
So is it still echoey?
Hey, hey, hey!
Okay.
What's going on? Tanks and update.
How about in the
All right,
YouTube
so
chat?
in the
Is it
chat,
still
just let me know
echoey?
if it's still super echoey.
If it
I'm on a
is, I
different
will see
computer
what I can
today,
do.
so it may not be 100% set up the same.
So is it still echoey?
Hey, hey, hey!
Okay.
What's going on? Tanks and update.
How about in the YouTube
We
chat?
can
Is it
attempt to.
still echoey?
It's still super echoey. I'm on a different computer today, so it may not be 100% set up the same. We can sneak it in quickly. What's going on? Tanks and update. All right, so I hear echoey. So Tanks and update or bearded, one of you guys mute your YouTube. We can sneak it in quickly. All right, so I hear echoey. So Tanks and update or bearded, one of you guys mute your YouTube. We can sneak it in quickly. All right, so I hear echoey. So Tanks and update or bearded, one of you guys
That
mute your
guy.
YouTube. I'm not even sure what the one is. That's kind of silver with a black stripe. We can sneak it in quickly. All right, so I hear echoey. So Tanks and update or bearded, one of you guys
That
mute your
guy.
YouTube. I'm not even sure what the one is. That's kind of silver with a black stripe. It's on the Oro website. We can sneak it in quickly. Here, give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna double check the audio on a different thing. Let you guys talk for 1 sec.
That guy.
I'm not even sure what the one is. That's kind of silver with a black stripe. It's on the Oro website. Here, give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna double check the audio
Test,
on a
test.
different thing. Let you guys talk for 1 sec. That guy. I'm not even sure what the one is. That's kind of silver with a black stripe. It's on the Oro website. Here, give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna double check the audio
Test,
on a
test.
different thing. Let you guys talk for 1 sec. Alright, I checked on my laptop and it doesn't sound echoey at all, so I think we're alright.
Test, test.
So did we figure out what that fish was? Alright, I checked on my laptop and it doesn't sound echoey at all. Alright, so I think we're alright.
Test, test.
So did we figure out what that fish was? Alright,
Yeah.
I checked on my laptop and it doesn't sound echoey at all. Alright, so I think we're alright. Just making sure. USMC Reefer, what's going on? DC Reefer said you can't hear Infamous.
Yeah.
Can you guys in the chat hear Infamous on the line? In Tanks and Updates, who's on? Just making sure. USMC Reefer, what's going on? Could you hear it through the YouTube? DC Reefer said you can't hear Infamous.
Yeah.
Can you guys in the chat hear Infamous? Yeah, 5-6 second delay, that's normal. It's between Hangouts and YouTube it does that. USMC Reefer, what's going on? Could you hear it through the YouTube? DC Reefer said you can't hear Infamous.
Yeah.
Can you guys in the chat hear Infamous?
Yeah,
on the
5-6
line?
second delay, that's normal.
It's one quick thing before we get into her. I built like a little skimmer and a cup thing to hold carbon on top. This will be for running ozone. This little tray to hold it inside, so I don't have to absorb any ozone that kind of escapes out. So I think that'll be pretty good. I built like a little skimmer and a cup thing to hold carbon on top. This will be for running ozone. This little tray to hold it inside, so I don't have to absorb any ozone that kind of escapes out. So I think that'll be pretty good. Anthony, say something for a second. And a cup thing to hold carbon on top. This will be for running ozone. This little tray to hold it inside, so I don't have to. Oh, we're gonna flow. I just want to make sure the audio's out, so I think that'll be pretty good. Anthony, say something for a second. And a cup thing to hold carbon on top. This will be for running ozone. This little tray to hold it inside, so I don't have to. Oh, we're gonna flow. I just want to make sure the audio's out, so I think that'll be pretty good. Anthony, say something for a second. And a cup thing to hold carbon on top. This will be for running ozone. This little tray. Audio technical difficulties, eh? Oh, we're gonna flow. I just want to make sure the audio's out, so I think that'll be pretty good. Anthony, say something for a second. And a cup thing to hold carbon on top.
It's looping.
Oh, frig. I know what it is. My apologies. It's because I had the stream in a different tab on the window, so you're hearing it twice. Okay, killing all our windows. Okay, we're back in business. That should have fixed it. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I was previewing it to make sure it was all working, and then the window was hiding in the different tab. Okay, so that should all be fixed. Excellent, thanks guys. My apologies for the minor technical interruption. So I did a couple videos with on the gyri getting to the long end of the tank and a bunch of different ones. I've had a lot of questions around flow lately, so I figured it'd kind of be a good topic to talk about today. And one thing that I see come up a lot, a lot of people don't fully understand when they say high flow, low flow, medium flow, and that type of thing. So just kind of go over the basics on that. On a general reef tank, I know 20 to 30 times turnover of your tank is kind of one of the standards. So if your tank's 100 gallons, that means 2,000 to 3,000 gallons. But I mean, it could be 10 times flow to 15 to 20 times flow for a softy tank. A mixed reef could be anywhere from the 20 to 30, and then a high flow would be considered anything from say 20 or 30 to 50 gallons per hour or times turnover. So that's kind of a big one. And then another thing I was asking is so why does it really matter how much flow you have? What's the purpose of it? What are the benefits? And one of the big things is that actually the flow will bring nutrients to corals in your tank. So if you don't have enough flow, your corals will also kind of leach, they get waste, they have toxins and different things. And the flow helps take that away as well as bring nutrients back to it. So there's a bunch of different reasons why having proper flow in your tank can make a huge difference. And a lot of stuff I've been researching lately actually is suggesting that flow is even more important than lighting for your corals. So I think it's a pretty big thing that's often kind of overlooked a bit. And a couple other things, I think. So, I mean, having good flow increases your oxygen, it decreases carbon dioxide, it'll help stabilize your pH. You want to make sure too your surface is waving and rocking, that type of stuff, because that's going to promote gas exchange. That's going to help get the CO2 out of the water, get your fresh air back into the water. I mean, this is also partially assuming that your tank has your air room surrounding. It's going to absorb whatever your room is, right? So you want to make sure your rooms has good air exchange. What's going on business? What's going on Aqua TV? How are you guys? Hey Haley. Hey DC. Yep. So I don't know. I feel like it's one thing that's often overlooked because everyone's like, yeah, check out the new lights, but no one's like, yeah, check out my new pump. So there's lots of good things mixed in with there. Other thing that's kind of funny, I've seen a lot of the cheap pumps. A lot of people start out with like just the AC powered or the laminar flow, where the pump's just AC always on going. And I've seen a few tanks now where actually the coral will start and grow in one direction from the flow. So you can get weird stuff like that happening too if you're not providing random flow to your tank. Yep. Another important point on that was with if too you don't want too much flow in a tank because I see some power heads where they have a very focused beam, they let you move it, but it's focused. So if you're just blasting your corals with that, that could actually hurt the tissue on them, which could be another whole round of trouble, right? So you can actually hurt your coral from too much flow, but what you want is water movement. So I mean, you want almost like your whole sheet of water in your tank moving back and forth rather than like dedicated tunnels smashing against your corals. Okay, I've never even heard of that one. Hmm. Nice. Yeah, give them a special place. Hmm. Yep. Oh, good choice. Excellent. On the Vortex side, actually, one good thing about Vortex is I have two on my tank, but they provide a lot of undertow, which too much is annoying because then it makes sand beds and divots in my tank. But that undertow will help suck off any of the detritus and stuff off of the sand bed and kind of bring it up into the water column into your overflow. So having undertow is actually like another big chunk of having flow. Same with the gyres, because you start them at the top of your tank and it's gonna push water all the way to the end and kind of wrap it around, bring it underneath. So a good chunk, like, because you are pushing it away, but you also want it to sweep it up. So that's another thing that people, you should consider when you're doing it. Dr. Welsh, I use two Toonsy wave makers to create a gyre effect. Yep. So gyre is definitely one of the popular ways to do it. I have a gyre as well as two MP40s in my tank, so I have two different types of flow kind of working together in a way. Oh, somebody has a new MP10 there. Very nice. Sounds good. We'll check her out later. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Vortex. I mean, they're not cheap, but I like that you can control them and mix it up. So you're not giving the coral the same flow 24 hours a day. You can, yeah, I mean, I guess if you have a ReefLink or a WXM module, you can program it, but then you're mixing it up. Like at nighttime, it's slower, or you can have waves, nutrient transport mode. So, mhm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Nice. Excellent. What else we got in the chat? Business Reef Tank, 4 MP40s on a 180. That's some fancy nice flow you got there, business. Yeah, the MP40s do work great. 180 waves and nutrient transport mode. Actually look mine up what I use. I haven't looked at it in a while. Go Smart Live. Well, actually, speaking of that too, how maintenance on your pumps can make a huge difference, right? Because if you don't touch your pumps for 6, 7 months and it's full of algae or coralline built up, you're probably only getting half or less of the flow you have when you have a clean pump. So taking it off and giving that pump that vinegar bath and cleaning it up can make a huge difference. Have you tried moving to a different spot in the tank? I'm terrible for that, so good work. My hands are in the tank way too much. But yeah. Hmm. Oh no. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's no good. Exactly. And two, make sure you rinse your hands really well first. Like I don't use soap before I do it. I'll just rinse them under the tap water and dry it off. And but yeah. So speaking of, no, that's a good call. Yeah. Yeah. So like on my vortex, at nighttime I have it at 20%, and in the daytime it goes to 50% on reef crest, and then tidal swell at 50%. Then after that it goes to lagoon mode, then back to constant speed, and it kind of loops out from day to day. So is it? Oh, nice. Yep, those are the ones I use. And then on mine, I have the gyro on top, and I leave that one on pulse mode just to kind of help rock the whole tank some more, which seems to be working pretty well so far. Hey, Seymour. How are ya? Excellent, excellent. So how's your tank doing a flow? What all do you rock to keep your tank happy? Excellent. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm. After a month? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I really like having mine. I think that extra, well, actually on my tank. So the Ecotech, the MP40s, they're good for about a solid 4 feet. If you're going beyond that, then it kind of slows down quite a bit. So that's why I have the gyri just to help push it that extra foot and a half in my tank. That's kind of the big thing with mine, just because I didn't want to have pumps on both ends, just because I like my pins end open. So in the chat, speaking of $400 budget, Joshua was asking for a 93-gallon cube, I think it was. Yep, and a 25-gallon trigger system sump. If you want to spend 400 bucks, I have a Vectra M1 and really like it. There's some pretty cool features you can do with like feed mode. It will hold the water at a trickle or right off, so you're not doesn't backfeed into your sump, and you can hook up to a battery backup. So those are two big features that I like. If you want a cheaper pump, I previously had the Jabo DC ones that are about 130 bucks, and those also work very well. So that's another potential option. How's it going on? Okay. All right, give me 1 sec. They're saying they can't hear the Hangouts properly, so I'm just gonna double check that one. Change the computer and it all goes to heck, eh? All right, so someone talk for a sec. All right, I'm gonna use you for 1 sec just to figure out which input I gotta swap this to. All right, so okay, talk again for a sec. Somebody on Hangout.
Glass, he like just comes and just like
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. It should be. That's what I'm trying to look into quickly. It's working now? You can hear it? No, in the Hangouts, but can you hear it from YouTube? It's good again. Okay. Alright, hopefully that's fixed. That's what I get for formatting my computer and losing all my settings, eh? Alright, they're still saying they can't hear it in the Hangout, so one more sec. I'm gonna try swapping a few more inputs. Yeah, I know you guys can because you're on the Hangouts. It's the people on the YouTube that are saying they're having an issue. One extreme to the next, eh? Okay. I upgraded my software, so I think it buggered up the settings as well. Oh yeah, no. You're fine for now. My audio's not working anyways, so. Okay, it sounds good. This might be why. Speakers. I think I know why. Done. Alright, should be fixed. So I can't hear now, but hopefully you guys can.
I can still hear you.
Me too. But you can't.
Alright, so still not working. They could a minute ago and I swapped it and then I couldn't hear you guys. So if I change it to the desktop. That's delayed though. I think I just changed it and went away. So give me one sec. Default, 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 that should be fine. Alright.
In computers, always something.
Okay, so you guys should hear the chat. Desktop audio. Oh, one more try. Alright, convoluted, but hopefully that works for now. Alright guys, should be fixed. I apologize for that. New lesson.
Yeah, it's okay.
Don't upgrade your software when it's working properly. Alright, so we're all good. Okay, so we got, where are we at? So Mr. Nick, if you still want to join, I shall drop the link again.
Something
What's that?
Something in my opinion is that I think waterfall is more important than lighting, in my opinion.
Nope. I've actually been hearing quite a bit of that lately, and a bunch of kind of like white papers and stuff I'm reading all types of like cool growth and stuff. It's basically saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that lately too.
Yep. So yeah, because everyone always shows off the lights and pays attention. No one ever talks about the flow. So figure it's a good to get some more attention.
I think it's hard to measure flow. I mean, you can see what the pump says, but how do you know you're actually getting that amount of turnover? You know, in gallons per hour. I know when Apex came out with the fluid monitoring, a lot of people realized their return pumps were doing nothing near what the specified output of it was. So,
Yeah.
Ecotech can say one number, but we really don't know. There's no way to really measure that in our tanks. Sure, you can put like little balls or whatever in it and kind of see the flow patterns on an empty tank. But, if you have a fully established reef, it's hard to tell that. Light, you can take a par meter, a lux meter. You can measure so much on our tanks, but you can't measure flow really.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I've actually been kind of curious. I've been debating getting one of those flow meters just to see what I am pumping through. Not that it really matters, but just out of curiosity.
Yeah, same. I was wondering some way that I could kind of measure it, just wanting to do some kind of experiment where I can see, all right, if I turn the flow up, I get this kind of response in a month. If I turn it down, I get this kind of response. But I just don't know of a way I can measure it. So
I have
kind of at a loss for that.
I have one of those flow meters. So
The Apex one?
Yep. So a Vectra M1 running at 100%. So I have a manifold.
Yep.
I guess pressure and everything. So I get running at full pressure, full tilt, which should be 2,000 gallons per hour. I get 300 gallons to the display tank, 100 to my refugium, and 100 to the Chaeto reactor. So I get about 500 gallons of flow, a quarter. So I saw on Reef Central somewhere where people started measuring flow, and we're saying, hey, like we're not getting the flow that's advertised. And Ecotech basically said, well, you have to use
your plumbing.
You have to use 1.5-inch pipe.
Yep.
And also you have to buy a separate, like the standard stuff that it comes with. You will never get the advertised flow rate. Like you have to get some added accessories. So that's another thing we don't realize. I thought I was getting 2,000 gallons per hour with. It comes with a 3/4-inch connection. So I thought use that and you'll be you're good. I'm good. But it turns out you have to use different plumbing. So I learned my lesson there.
But the other thing about that is, how do we know that Apex is measuring properly unless you put it into a bucket and see how fast you fill that bucket up?
Well,
I had a question about that because I have a flow meter that I use for my calcium reactor, because I run my calcium reactor at a full stream instead of drips. And I use the flow meter to tell me when it's starting to clog up, because I don't think it's telling me the accurate amount that's really flowing. I used a measuring cup and measured it, and I look at the Apex and it tells me two different things. So I wonder, I haven't tested a larger flow meter like on a 1-inch or 1.5 or whatever, but I'm wondering if the flow meters themselves are 100% accurate, or if they have some play in them as well.
I think they have some play. I don't think they're 100%.
Yeah. So when I first set up my tank, I did try the bucket test. And I think what I got at the time, I dismissed the results, saying, "Hey, I probably did something wrong," because the calculation I got at the time was about a quarter, a little over a quarter. But I kind of dismissed it as, hey, maybe I didn't know what I was doing. Maybe I screwed up the math. Now I'm looking back and think maybe I was accurate then. And, I just thought there's no way I'm getting a little over a quarter of what, was advertised. So I'll be interested to see if it's really accurate. I know there's I know GHL has like flow meters. I probably want to see like a test of,
how accurate it is.
Yeah. But for now, I kind of believe it, especially when, Ecotech came out and kind of said, you have to use like plumbing, which I understood.
Yeah, because I mean, on the M1, I believe it's 3/4 output as a 1-inch input. So you would think you need at least 1-inch, like match the input and output flow to get that.
Yeah, I think you have to get a special connection to even do 1.5-inch output, which was what's going to give you that close to that 2,000 gallons per hour flow rate.
It also depends on your head height too, how much you're going up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure my manifold has something to do with it. It's going to the display and also split, running 2 other devices. So I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it.
Oh no, that definitely will. I mean, in an ideal world, you'd have to have it like nice and smooth, single pipe. tons of connections and all that jazz. So actually, interesting part on the eco thing. Next week's live stream, I'm gonna have Ecotech on the call. Do you guys have any special requests or stuff you want to know or see from Ecotech that I can ask them? Or so let me know if there's any specific questions you guys like to know from Ecotech.
Yeah. Got to think about that one.
Yeah.
I want to know why my Vectra isn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm half kidding, but I want to know why my Vectra isn't workable with my WXM. But
I know.
Oh man, that's an old fight right there.
Yes, yes. My unofficial, I'm just guessing response is I'm pretty sure that there was some issues between Neptune and them. I think because ReefLink, I think Neptune kind of saw it more competing with their own controller against it. So I think that's kind of what killed the relationship. This is just a guess. I don't know for sure, but.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that run a ReefLink because I bought a Vectra. Before the Vectra, I had everything on the WXM, but I wanted to be able to control that ReefLink. So, you know, I figured out a way to do feed mode with like my skimmer and the rest of my Ecotech products by using the Apex 2016, the voltmeter.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
that's handy.
like that. But
I just have a little feed or a float switch, so when my water level rises, it turns off the skimmer and does all that jazz.
Yeah, I was doing it that way too, but the float switch wasn't going off fast enough, and that my skimmer would start to get dangerously high.
Gotcha.
But the volt monitor is fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking along the same lines. I don't want to turn off my return pump when I feed, but I don't want food going over the overflow. So I just want to slow down the flow enough, which is what I was excited about with the Vectra. I just want to slow down the flow enough, you know, just so water keeps running, but barely trickles over the overflow.
Yep, exactly.
And
that's my.
I ended up getting ReefLink, but I'm not gonna do feed mode on my ReefLink when I want to do feed mode on my, you know, on my Apex. So I just dealt with it.
So but, what I do with mine is I run feed mode on. Sorry, I just got rid of Huskies. Just keep spamming icons. Okay, so with on mine, I use ReefLink to. So I use the Alexa to tell my ReefLink to go into feed mode, and then that float switch kicks off and tells the Apex to go into feed mode.
Yeah, my wife doesn't want to do all of that. She's used to the Apex. She's used to pressing the one button. She wants to go over to the D-pad and press the one button. Or we have a computer that the start page is the Apex window.
Yep.
She doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to learn another device. She just wants to go. And the kids, you know, I have a 9-year-old that feeds sometimes for me. I want to make it as simple as possible. He just goes. He knows to hit feed A when he's feeding pellet, or B when he's feeding frozen, and that's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to log into another device. So, yeah, I realize that there's some creative solutions, but in my case, I don't think it'll work because it's not just me. I have to consider the entire family.
Fair enough. You should invest.
I love
in Alexa.
the Alexa thing.
Yeah.
With feeding, yeah, the Alexa thing is cool. I set that up last week.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
I just got an Alexa. Devin, you gotta.
And my Alexa just came on.
I know you can't say it too loud.
Yeah, mine too. I just got mine 2 days ago, so for Prime Day. So I didn't know it can control feed mode. So you know what? Maybe that's a better way to do it.
Try it out, man. It's nice.
Yeah,
it is real nice.
You will appreciate it. It's so nice, hands-free. You're in your tank. You can turn your pumps off. It's great. I can lay on the couch until Alexa start feed mode. Wait for it to just kind of level out and drain to that trickle. Then I go throw my food in. All that stuff's super handy.
So
yeah, ReefDudes has a video on it. It's great.
Yep.
So you just you have a video on it. All right.
Yes, I do.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yep.
Check it out right now.
Check it out.
All right.
Takes less than 5 minutes to set it up.
Yep. Super quick. It's worth it. Thanks, Haley. Good point. If you guys are enjoying this, hit that thumbs up button. Show the channel some love. You guys are lazy reefers. Yes, we are. All right, see you later, Eddie.
Says the guy whose name is Easy Reefer.
Yeah. We make it easy so we can be lazy. It's a smart thing. We put in the work up front so it automates itself and don't have to worry about it later.
That's my motto right there.
Yep. Hey, it's a great way to do it. Plus, I just have fun automating stuff, so it's any excuse is a good excuse for me.
I have to consider the family with every decision I make. Like, how easy is it going to be for them to feed and do some of these everyday tasks? So, you know, I'm glad, because then it gets, you know, the wife, she doesn't give me too much crap for expensive purchases, which is nice. But, you know, on the back end, like, I would probably geek out my tank a little bit more, you know, but I have to consider, you know, their user experience when messing with the tank also.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's fair. I still think he's trying Alexa, because they don't need a web page, they don't need a phone or an app. All you can do is talk to it, and you can start the whole process. Literally.
All right.
Now, if you have the new Apex, you can use the power drop to tell it that it's in feed mode, or you could use a float switch to break a block. So you got a couple different options there.
I have the new Apex, so Devin, I'm gonna reach out. Yeah, so yeah, that would be interesting. I really want to try that.
You should definitely.
Yeah, I got a video on my channel about that because I set that up a while back.
Nice.
What's your channel? All right.
I'm the business.
The business Reef Tank.
I'm the business.
Nah, look in the chat. The business Reef Tank.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so you guys in the chat, think about it. If you have any good questions you want for Ecotech for next week, let me know. So I'm thinking that would be a pretty awesome live stream. Hopefully get a little bit of tour around some of their tanks and ask some questions from everything else. Shameless plug. No worries there.
Just letting everyone know, they also distribute the Nios. So if you have any questions about the Nios skin, bring them also.
Good point. And technically they own AI now.
Yeah. So yeah, they not only do the Ecotech lights, the Vortec pumps, the vector return pump, but yeah, Nios skimmers.
Yep.
That's theirs.
All kinds of good toys. I'm pretty bad because I have lots of Ecotech stuff, so I tend to love them. Can we ask for lower their prices? I don't think you're gonna get any traction on that one, Mike.
That's a good one. Let's ask anyway.
Yeah, we can ask. As much as I would love it cheaper. I mean, it's not cheap stuff. By no means cheap. It's definitely kind of the more upper level of end of things, but maybe you can get a big group discount.
This stuff is well made, and they're in Pennsylvania. They're an American company, so it's going to be expensive. You know, they're in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I know that for a fact. So, you know, I'm not saying that's the reason they're expensive, but you know, it's they make good, solid products.
Yeah, exactly.
They do.
It's something you can buy once and then keep it. But
and I like the upgrade. I like the upgrade because I did buy like an old MP10. I had a buddy that bought an MP20 a long time ago, then was able to upgrade that to another pump, and then he ended up upgrading that same pump to like a quiet drive. So he was able to upgrade and use the same pump and just pay. He didn't have to buy new tech. You know, he just paid like a fraction of the price and was able to upgrade.
Yeah, that's nice. That's handy. Eh?
That's one reason I started buying Ecotech equipment is because I did the same thing. I bought an old model MP40, then converted it to the WES, and then converted it to the QD. I did the same thing with my Radeon. Started out with a G2, went up to a G3 Pro. The only thing I hate now is that I can't go anywhere with the G3 Pro. I just got to flat out buy new Radeon G4s. So.
Yep. No, actually, question.
I have kind of an unrelated question for you guys.
Yep.
Okay, kind of related to flow, but it's more so on your algae reactor. I don't want to kind of take the discussion in the nutrient deal, but I'm making one right now, and I'm wondering what you guys do for fittings to make it easy when cleaning it out, because I have an all-in-one tank, and I'm looking to set it up underneath my tank in the stand. But do you guys have like quick disconnects or just like ball valves where you can turn it on and off?
Well, I have a ball valve up above it, and I also have a union on it. So the union is where you can kind of connect two pipes together and just unscrew it easily. So
okay, so you put a ball valve at the top.
Yep. Yep. So on my, well, the output just goes into the tank, but my input I have a union and a ball valve. So I turn it off and then I unscrew the union. And
the union is like a Y valve, you say?
No, here, I'll show you. It's kind of like you can screw the two halves together.
But when you separate that, it completely stops the flow.
Yeah. No, you still need a ball valve. So if you're looking at the screen right now on YouTube, so the union's kind of like two pieces of pipe and one screws onto the neck. So it's a way to separate your pipe. There's a good example right there. So that's what a union looks like. So you'd still need a ball valve. Like I would put a valve somewhere between your pump and your reactor, and then put a union in the middle, so it's easy to take the whole thing out.
Oh, so you're not constantly like yanking it off of the actual pump that's in the sump? Or...
Yeah, exactly. So all I do is unscrew it and I just pop it out.
Well, and you say that your output is just going right into your sump at the bottom. It's just pouring right down in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, my output.
Yeah, I wish I had a sump.
I'm gonna show you. Here is mine made on my Nano, my kid's Nano from a phosphate reactor.
I've seen your video before.
Yeah, this is a different. I simply screw it off. I just use the fittings. They don't leak. Just the standard fittings. They're easy to remove, and yeah, they don't leak. And
I've seen that, and that's the easiest way of doing it. But I don't want to put it on the side of my tank. I want to keep it underneath, which kind of complicates everything.
Yeah, I think what Devin said, union and a ball valve. Ball valve shut off the flow, and then union just you just unscrew it, disconnect it, take it to the sink, put it in the bucket, take it to the sink, and then bring it back and reconnect.
Yep. I mean, you could
Well,
use.
I think I'll need 2 ball valves. Because I'll need one on the output that goes back into the tank too, so that nothing siphons down.
Well,
when I disconnect it.
Are you using hard plumbing or soft plumbing?
Just soft plumbing.
Okay. If you can just pull your output out, and just as long as you're holding it up higher above the reactor, you should be okay.
Yeah, I think looking forward, yeah, you should put 2, because then when you're ready to disconnect the reactor, because maybe every couple of months, maybe I did it maybe once every 5 or 6 months, but every couple of months you're gonna have to clean it out completely because Coraline gets in it and it's gonna block the light. So you're probably step away, so it's not a pain in the butt to when you need to disconnect the entire thing and soak it in vinegar for a couple hours. So that second ball valve, it's gonna cost a little more, but that's gonna come in handy for those days when you need to just remove the entire reactor and take it somewhere and just soak it.
Yeah. Okay, and another question I have for you guys is, I've seen both of your videos, and I've watched them both a couple times before I decided to make it. Is why did you guys decide to go with the warm whites? I ended up, I haven't tested them yet, so I don't know how well they're gonna work, but I ended up getting like the actual this stuff on eBay. It's like 4 reds, 1 blue.
Yep.
Is there a reason?
I was actually, partially because I had the warm whites laying around the house, where the blue and red ones I would add an order. Okay. I might try them eventually. So the warm whites will kind of have like red spectrum mixed in with them. Now the brighter white, like the cool to the warm white, will more stimulate the Chaeto to grow in the first place, and then once it's growing, the red kind of spectrum will help stimulate it to keep growing. So if it's kind of stagnant and not growing, those warmer lights will help kind of kick into growing. So, I mean, they'll both do the job. As long as it's growing, you're fine. You don't have to worry about too much. Like I
haven't put it together yet.
Yeah, if you're getting good growth from it, then yeah, you're good. I might try those lights eventually and just do a bit of a comparison. But I know that different spectrums are like, do you want some like hydroponic lights? Or the Kessel ones. They have like
that's what it is.
a growth mode and like a budding mode, because they're different spectrums to target whatever the chlorophyll, like whatever the plant needs at that time for that stage.
I have 2. One, ReefDudes Devin recommended it to me, and that one worked fine. The one I just showed you, I just bought the kit from Marine Depot at the time, and they both work fine.
Yeah.
I think the one Devin recommended gives a lighter color Chaeto. I don't know why. The Chaeto is more, like leaf green, while the one from Marine Depot, it's more of a dark green.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they both work. Like that nano tank, nutrients are 0. I don't need to do water changes. So they do a good job of just managing nutrients, period. So they both work.
Yep.
But I just noticed that, some lights, the Chaeto is a different color. I don't know if it has to do with the different spectrum or what.
Yeah, so Jim in the chat saying he uses white LEDs, so I mean they're all gonna grow it.
Yeah, I use the red and blue ones. So yeah, I think they all grow. It's just, I think the Chaeto will be a lighter color. I know mine's not a real dark green, but the Chaeto grows like crazy. And I got some cheap eBay lights, the red and blue ones.
So
How often are you guys cleaning? I guess it also depends on how many nutrients it's like and how fast it's growing, but like once a week, every other week?
I do it probably every 2 to 3 weeks. I don't wait until it's nice and packed just because I don't have too much work to do every week.
I think initially, if you have high nutrients, you might have to clean it. So I put a DIY one on my big tank that had some phosphate issues for a week, and the Chaeto was kind of full within a week, like almost full in a week. But after I think that initial, if your tank has nutrient issues after that initial spike, I don't think you'll have to. The nano tank, I clean it once a month, but that's a smaller tank. So it really depends on your tank. I would say, 2 to 4 weeks is a really broad stroke answer, but I think it really depends on you. If you're a heavy feeder, there's going to be more nutrients, so it might grow faster.
Yeah, so more red makes bright leaf, green colors even. Yeah, so I mean each spectrum's gonna promote a bit of a different color in it.
In a couple weeks, I might have because I just added a new algae reactor last night, a Pax Bella, and it has white, but it also had some magenta. I think it's along that growth spectrum that Devin was talking about. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Chaeto, if it grows any faster, or if the Chaeto is a different color. So, but I just added it last night, so I don't know how the Chaeto is gonna look. So in a couple of weeks, I should, I'll give an update on it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good to know. Okay. I mean, ideally, if you have both, then you're covering, the growth spectrum and like the stimulation spectrum.
Well, I'm curious, why did you guys decide to go with the algae reactor over, especially for those of you who have the big old sums, like over a turf scrubber?
I might try turf scrubber eventually. I had Chaeto in my sump with a 90-watt LED, and that grew Chaeto like crazy. But I wanted that space in my sump for a frag rack, so that's kind of why I did the reactor, just to free that. I'll probably build and try a turf scrubber down the road.
Okay.
Yeah, I really didn't have the space in my sump, so it was just easier to run a tube to a Chaeto reactor. I want to get a bigger Chaeto reactor because the one I have is small, and since I know that now it's going to grow, then I may go a little bit bigger. But yeah, I don't really have the space.
What one did you decide to go with? What size?
I just did a DIY, a small one, like bulk reef supply one. It's really undersized for my tank, but I just wanted to see if it would even grow Chaeto, and I was surprised. It grows very nicely. So
nice.
I want to get a larger reactor, probably find if I get a reactor or something used online. Otherwise, I'll buy one when I get tired of waiting for one to come used.
For me, it was space. I didn't have space for a big refugium, and I did one on my Nano with a really small reactor from like basically the kit Marine Depot sells, and it worked well. So instead of an algae scrubber, this was just cleaner. I think an algae scrubber would have required me, when I first thought of it, for my big tank, I had just, for my 75-gallon, I had just done my manifold, and I didn't want to, it would have taken me a lot more planning to kind of fit a algae scrubber in there somewhere. And I already had an extra space on my manifold, so it was easy to just connect some half-inch tubing, some silicone tubing, and run it to a reactor. So that was cleaner and easier.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I agree. The Chaeto reactors are, to me, in my own personal opinion, they are a lot cleaner than what algae scrubber would be.
Well, yeah.
And I see. I wouldn't say they're a great source of pods. So I have an algae reactor, a Chaeto reactor, and right now I have a small, like a 2-gallon refugium that I was showing, like earlier. The Chaeto reactor grows pods, which is another thing that I don't think an algae reactor. I don't know if it's going to be like a refugium style. If you have a good size refugium, I don't know if you're going to get that same amount of pods.
It's us.
But I do know when I opened to empty the algae reactor, like last night, it was on the tank for a week. I did see like the little amphipods that do the small, fast movements, and I saw the big amphipods, the bigger ones. I wouldn't say it was a lot of them, but there was enough where I noticed them. So that's another thing with the Chaeto reactor versus the turf scrubber, where, you know, there's a chance. This is something we probably need to measure or look at, but there's a chance that you'll grow at least a small amount of pods. I don't think that'll happen with a turf scrubber.
Well, I don't know. I think anytime you have a mat of algae, because I look at stuff under the microscope all the time. I can take some just hair algae from my overflow, look at it under a microscope, and I will see pods. So I think pods will be there. The thing is, do you save them in a turf scrubber? No, most people just scrape the algae off, throw it away, and call it a day. So, but I think you're going to grow pods in either one of them.
Yeah,
they're there. They may be the microscopic kind that you can only see with a microscope, but
they're tiny.
They're going to be there. Pods are all over the place.
I culture pods, and half the time you can barely see them. There's little pinhead specks. So there's probably tons there you're not even seeing.
Yep, exactly.
Hey guys, I have a quick question. I've noticed this when I got back on my from my trip. I got back on my 65, and there's these like little things that like have like here's one. That's like tentacles. I don't know if you can see it. It's very tiny.
Is it
like Aptasia?
But
is it like moving around like arms?
No. This tank hasn't had any corals in it yet, so I know it can't be Aptasia, and I have Aptasia downstairs in the 45, and I know what that looks like.
Are you able to whiten your lights up a bit?
Yeah, I can light them up.
Could be Hydra. Hydroids or something like that. I know they have tentacles and.
Let's see if I can. It's right there. It's like a little speck.
Yeah, it looks like a pineapple sponge or something.
Is it like
all I know is that it's very tiny.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it might be a better view on the side.
If you can see the YouTube, I'm just gonna pull up a pineapple sponge. Is it a little white thing with little kind of specks on it?
I don't know about 5 or 6 tiny little white speck.
Or sorry, like a little white fuzzy thing with little things on it? Like, does it look like a pineapple that's white?
Not really.
No?
No. I just always thought, I mean, I had them in the 13 whenever it was first starting out, like about this old of tank, how old this tank is. It's about a month old. And I just always thought it was like some type of pod or something good because it didn't hurt anything. So, but I just never knew what it is. What it was. Yeah, there's one there. There's a bunch on this wall. There, like those white specks on the wall.
Yeah, those are they moving?
No, like not like crawling around, but they are like inhaling or exhaling or something like that.
They could be Copepods on your glass.
Yeah. And they're like all over the place.
Yeah, they're probably Copepods.
You have a lot of fish?
Yeah. In some instances, I've seen where new tanks, you know, until the tanks has found that equilibrium, sometimes in the early stages, you can get like an explosion of them.
Yeah, I've noticed that in tanks I've set up too.
And what's weird is
I've had that in my frag tank lately.
All of this is all dry rock. The only thing alive is a little shelf rock that I have in the sump, and that came from the 13, and I never like dosed it with pods or anything.
They'll find a way.
Pods just come.
If you had something that's live, it found a way in.
Yep.
Life always finds a way.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're even in this tank too.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the question I had.
Yeah. Oh, tank's looking pretty good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks to my dad, he cleaned the glass really great. Yeah.
That's nice of him.
He cleaned the glass really great, and yet let one of my prize Montes almost bleached out.
Oh no. Is it
Yeah, I mean you can still see polyps on it, but I don't know. I gotta. All I know is that the calcium was low, so I dosed it.
Yeah.
And I'll have to check in about a week or so.
Keep an eye on your alkalinity, because usually if corals start bleaching and stuff, a lot of the times it could be from alkalinity swings or just too much light. But majority of the time I see stuff dying, it's because your alkalinity's all over the place and the corals aren't happy. So keep an eye on that.
I'll have to check that. Okay.
Yeah, arguably alkalinity is the thing you should pay the most attention to.
Okay. Gotta make a note. Gotta make a note of that.
Yeah. Yeah, alkalinity I try to test it weekly for the most part, but then calcium might be every couple of weeks, and magnesium every couple of weeks type of deal.
What kind of a threshold of like an alk swing are you trying to stay within?
For me, I try and keep mine like as dead.
Yeah, just in general.
I keep mine around 8.5. That's kind of whatever happy place I decide to stay at. So I generally like I can check in a week and it will be within like 0.1, 0.2, or right on the money. So mine's super stable.
How do you dose?
I have a doser and it doses every like 20 minutes at night. And like I dose 50 or 60 mils a night, just whatever it takes. Keep it stable.
I dose calc. It's just so inconsistent. I live in Arizona and like it'll be hot and not humid one day and evaporate like crazy, and humid and not really evaporate much the next.
So you're using it in your auto top off?
Yeah. I stopped doing it though because it was swinging so much and so inconsistent. I'm debating either just kind of I've been slacking a little bit with my alkalinity checker, my HANA checker, and testing every other day or so to really get down to how much it's taken. But
it's never gonna be fully. It's never gonna be fully stable if your temperature keeps changing. The other thing you can do is set up like a calc drip. Like some people have a little jug of it, and it'll just slowly, a little air valve or something, it'll slowly drip into the tank. Then you can get it consistent that way.
That's a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, or if you use like a dosing pump and push it through a calc reactor, it's another option to do it consistently. Or just
I actually mix up kalkwasser for my nano and use a dosing pump, and it stays potent if you keep it. So I basically built, like from bulk resupply, bought one of the little bulkheads.
Hang on, can I interrupt you? I didn't hear what you said. It stays potent if you do what?
If you keep it covered. Keep it covered in seed.
Oh, so you don't from air?
He touches it. Yeah, so I bought like use a little Gatorade bottle, and I mix it up and change it every couple of weeks. 1 teaspoon, fill the Gatorade bottle, shake it, wait for it to settle out, and then add it to the tank. And then a BRS dosing pump doses it every day consistently. And that maintains calcium and alkalinity in that tank. So I think you can do something similar with a dosing pump, or like Reef said, like a calc stir. But a dosing pump is good. Yeah, kalkwasser, if you stir it or it gets exposed to CO2, that's when it loses its potency. But if it gets exposed to air, but if you keep it sealed,
I've had mine in one of the 5-gallon jugs we all use for like RO water, or we all used to use at one point.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just throw my pump in there for my auto top off, and I kind of suspend it with a clip so that it's not at the very bottom of that jug, so that there's like that 3-inch gapping hole at the top that I just leave exposed. Is that kind of diminishing the calc?
No, that's fine to do it. You just want to make sure you're not sucking from the powder to the bottom. But if you're only doing like a couple tablespoons or whatever it is to dissolve in the 5-gallon, then
you're leaving it for a week.
Is it losing its potency? So
you're doing it for a week. You probably refill that jug every week, right?
Yeah, about every 5 to 7 days. Yeah,
you're fine. I mean, I'm doing mine. I go 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That I wanted to keep its potency locked up.
Yeah, and if you're fully saturating in that, you should be fine. The only thing is, though, it's hard to say, right? Because you're not dosing a consistent amount every day if your temperature keeps all over and your evaporation changes.
Yeah, what you described is exactly why I moved from kalkwasser, because in the winter when evaporation is consistent, but then in the summer, I get my apartment is hot, so 1 week, like last week in New York, we had a day where it was 90. It was the hottest day of the year, and then the next day was 70 degrees, 71 degrees. So one day was 100, almost 100, and the next day was 71. You can imagine the difference in evaporation those 2 days, just back-to-back days. So that's one of the reasons I stopped using Kalkwasser in my 8 because the swing when it came to the summer was too much to, the evaporation changed so much it was too hard to dial in.
Yeah.
That's when I went to two-part, BRS two-part.
Yep, I did the same.
I wish 90 was the hottest day of the year here in Arizona. It was 121 degrees like 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh man, and I got to go to Arizona next weekend.
I'm sorry. That's so bad for you, man.
Yeah.
I know, man. It's horrible. I got a
Or
wedding.
something.
Yeah, I'll be in Phoenix. I got a wedding to go to next week.
And it's the worst. The city's the worst because it's just like one big baking concrete mess.
Yep.
Yeah, my family's been trying to get me to move out there. I'm like, no, it's too hot.
My aunt lives there.
Dude, the winters are so nice though.
Yeah. I've only been in
I
the
hate
winter.
the winter.
It's like 70. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, sorry. No, I've only actually been there in the winter. I haven't went in the blazing summer. For my own safety.
It's like I'm so jealous of all the snowbirds. These, come wintertime, I drive around and I see like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Canadian license plates. I'm like, you fuckers.
Yeah.
During the winter, and they go back to their, not 121-degree summers.
That's strategy.
I guess so. Like,
Man,
back on the conversation of flow, I think I shared this a couple weeks ago, but I think it was in CJ's stream.
Yep.
Is those random flow generators? Are any of you guys running them on your tanks?
A few people have bought them on here.
I'm waiting for my.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos of people.
I have a cheap Hydor one. Let me see if I can. I have a cheap innovative marine one, not Hydor.
Oh, I
Let me
used to
see
have
if I
those
can
in my
give you.
30-gallon.
Yeah.
Well, it's a new type where there's no moving parts. It's kind of crazy. The guy's local in Arizona, and I was in one of our shops, and he walked in and kind of sold me on one, and I've been using them, and they're awesome. Just
Nice.
no moving parts, and it completely randomized the flow all over my tank.
Well, that's awesome.
I like
Random
it.
flow is huge, so I mean that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are like.
I have SPS in that little nano, so I just added a J-Bow pump for additional flow. But if it was a softy tank, it would absolutely work well. It would be perfect for that tank. No additional flow would be needed. But I have some Montes, I have some Samacora and a Setosa, and that needs more flow. So that's why I added a smaller pump. But I like them. I ordered a couple that I'm waiting to get here. I'm excited.
I'm probably pick one up and try one next time.
What are they? The Vivid Aquatics ones?
Yeah.
Is it Viv? Yeah, I think it's Vivid. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's the one from Vivid Aquatics.
Yeah.
I got the one.
Yeah, that's the one I bought.
Half-inch lock line.
VCA is what's printed on them.
Yeah.
It didn't come yet.
Yeah, no, he's the ones that's 3D printing them.
Yeah, that's so awesome too. I was talking to him about that, and I mean, it's just like one of those "why didn't I think of it" things.
Yeah, I know. I actually have thought about
He prints them on like a $200 printer.
Yeah, I know, that's awesome. Hey, T-Bomb. Tom Cruise thing, eh? Thanks, sounds the same. What did I get told to? The other day, I was somewhere, and they said it looked like David Tennant. I'm not sure. I've been told that by 3 different people over the last year now.
Wait, you look like who?
David Tennant.
Who's that?
I don't know. Oh, I think it's the guy of one of the Doctor Who's and some other stuff.
Is he Canadian?
No, I think he's British.
I'm just making fun of you, man.
Yeah, he's one of the Doctor Who guys. I don't know. I've been told that by multiple people, though. I don't fully see it, but who knows.
David Tennant. Nah, I don't see it.
Do any of you guys watch Doctor Who, on a random side note?
Wait, watch what?
Doctor Who.
Game of Thrones? Yeah.
That's a good show, too. I haven't started watching the new ones yet, though. Anyone know what happened to Vidicorium's channel? They haven't updated in ages. I do not. He has jumped on the live stream once or twice, but that's the last I've seen him. So
I want to share. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna turn my camera on and show you guys. I picked up a new coral without. I saw the Craigslist ad. I met the guy locally, you know, and was just kind of sizing it in my head, and it's just this monstrous brain that I have absolutely no room for.
Nice. All right, let's see.
I'll take it.
It's really
I
pretty.
gotta fill my tank up.
Oh, it looks good in there. It fits.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. I have like no space.
Holy crap.
I thought it would be like for the size of my scully, but it's like maybe double or triple.
Are you in New
And it's
York?
not even fully open. It's pressed against the rock here.
Really?
I got a killer deal on it though. It was $60 for this guy.
Holy crap.
That's
Are
not
you
bad.
willing are you willing to? Are you in New York, by the way? No.
I'm in Arizona, man. I couldn't be
Oh,
further.
Here, I'll drive to Arizona. I'm in Texas. I'll be like a 10-hour drive or so.
Oh, you're in the heat. Oh.
I'll meet you halfway.
Okay, New Mexico.
Speak of vacation on the deal.
But yeah, I guess if I would have saw this, I may not have purchased it. It's just so big.
Yeah, you could fit it though. It still works. I mean,
Yeah, just kind of,
I'll probably have to move,
just move that guy
Johnny.
over and give it a little more space.
yeah.
somewhere. I don't know where to put it, but I need a bigger tank.
How big's your tank?
It's one of the JBJ 45s.
Oh, I got that downstairs. I got a 65 in my room.
Nice.
I love it, man. Well, the 65 is bigger than this.
Oh yeah, so hey, Devin, quick question.
Yep.
What do you think of would a clam garden work in my 65? I've been contemplating of getting like another 3 clams and putting them in this tank, but I'm too scared that they'll just eat up everything and not leave anything for my corals I plan to have.
Okay, so it depends on the size of the clam. Smaller clams, when they're less than, I'd say, like 2.5, 3 inches, you got to supplement a lot of phytoplankton to the tank. Because when they're tiny, they really like the phytoplankton. When they get bigger, they're mainly photosynthetic. So if you get 3, I'd say shoot for like make sure it's at least 3 inches, and then it's going to be majority of it's photosynthetic. But it probably wouldn't hurt to add a bit of phyto and stuff once in a while as well, if you do want to do it.
Okay.
But they are
Like,
mainly filter
yeah.
feeders.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know why I thought they would eat up everything. Yeah, because I was planning for like 2 3-inch clams, and then the clam I have now to put it like right there up here in front, and then also plan have 2 more gonoporas on this side, the one I have now, kind of off to the corner too, and then just fill the rocks with like LPS and SPS. Basically, like a heavy mixed reef.
Yep.
Is what I'm planning for.
That's the best kind of reef.
Yeah.
What's someone asking in the chat? All right, Haley's going to bed. Have a good night, Haley. Hit that thumbs up. Thanks for the reminder. If you guys are enjoying the stream, as always, hit that thumbs up button. Always appreciate it.
Hey, one
Night,
thing,
Haley.
Devin, just circling back a little bit.
Yes.
I know someone was talking about alkalinity spikes a few minutes ago. And so my second I just want to show someone the, so I have the last couple days, I had an alkalinity spike, and my second camera there, you see the green SPS on the left is bleaching, has bleach tips.
Oh no.
That's because over the course of a couple of days, the alkalinity went from 8 to close to 10.
Yeah.
And I actually lost some. You see right in the middle, that's a candy cane. So I lost probably half the heads on that. So
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm back on. I'm getting back on track. That's just from you're talking about some of the detriments of an alkalinity spike, and that's it.
Yep. So yeah, honestly.
Well, go ahead, Devin.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know. Honestly, the biggest issue I've seen from corals being harmed is from alkalinity swings. So the one thing you want to make sure you get that baby dialed in. What's going on, Barry Reaper?
The problem I have is I don't know what to keep my alkalinity at because I just keep it so high, and I don't know if it's necessary, but it's naturally hangs around like 11 or to 11 and a half.
What salt are you using?
Red Sea Pro, and I think it comes out of the bag at like 12.5 ish.
Okay.
Yeah. How often do you do water changes with it?
I've been pulling back a little bit on it and trying to do about every 10 days. I'm not having like nutrient issues, but I'm trying to kind of let the water get a bit dirtier.
That's why it's so high, because you're doing water changes every couple of days.
Yep.
That's and you say 12. I mostly see it like closer to 13. Like it's really high in that Red Sea Coral Pro. Everything is high, and if you're changing water every that days and you don't have an SPS heavy tank pulling a lot, so you're basically upping your alkalinity a little bit every time you do water changes. But if you have no nutrients, I don't know. You do water changes to reduce nutrients. If you don't have any nutrients, then you might be able to cut back that water change to every 2 weeks or once a month.
Well, I'm doing it more now because the water changes more now because I was running some macroalgae in the back subsets, kind of with like a little DIY project to test algae reactor before it was doing really well, but it was just clunky and it was escaping my sump and my.
Yep.
It's just not a good system. So now I'm going to run that algae reactor. I might be able to get away with doing it less, but I just checked on the bag. It says it's 12.3 to 12.7.
I think the best thing with salt is to try to find a salt that has the alkalinity at what you want to be at. And that's why I use just plain Instant Ocean. Now, the other salts, they have high alkalinity. I like to run my alkalinity around 8. So, I can't do a Red Sea Coral Pro because that will throw my water off.
Yeah.
The other thing to think about is what are your other parameters? A lot of people would run high alkalinity if they have high nutrients, but people like myself who I run lower nutrients, I can't run my alkalinity at 10, 11, 12. I'll get burnt tips. So that's another thing. And also with alkalinity, it's best to pick a number and stay there. It depending on the rest of your parameters, it may not matter that your alkalinity is at 10 or 11 as long as it stays there and your tank is used to it. It's more that consistency. So that's another thing to think of. And a lot of people ask me why I use Instant Ocean. It's because I need the parameters that Instant Ocean has. So
it doesn't spike your numbers.
Exactly. Plus, it's a lot cheaper. I used Red Sea Coral Pro before in the past, and I mean it's a good salt, but I was just chasing parameters while I used it.
Yeah, and that's another reason I asked about the swings. Now I have my aquarium app up, and every time I'm recording it, the biggest swing I'll get is I guess on the 2nd I tested it at 11.98, and on the 6th of this month I tested it at 11.26.
But you know what though? If it's there, that's fine. 7 to 11 is kind of an acceptable range that you could keep your elk at. The biggest thing is keeping it stable. You're fine keeping it at 11, but just keep it at 11. Make sure it doesn't drop way down.
Keep it stable, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about the swing when I do because now that I'm not dosing with calc because it's just so all over the place. And in one day it could dump 2 gallons of water in there because it just evaporates so much, and in another day it just doesn't dump any at all.
Have you thought about
so hold on, you're using salt water with your RODI, or so when you
am I using
in your top off water, are you using regular salt water or just RODI?
RODI.
Okay. So another thing you can do. Oh, okay. Another thing you can do is you can use an acid in order to bring the alkalinity down. Now you're getting into more mixing chemicals and stuff, but I have seen a lot of people do that before too.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds intimidating, to be honest.
No fear, man. No fear.
I'll salt before I go and do something like that.
But yeah, or try to find a salt that has
muriatic acid, or what kind of acid?
What is it?
Vinegar.
I'm just kidding.
Can you
Not
use vinegar?
muriatic acid, of course.
Muriatic acid, I believe.
Okay, all right. I'll have to go get some of that.
I have some.
But yeah, read up on it first, because I know there's certain doses you need. So I don't have all that information at my fingertips. So just read up on it before you do it.
I mean, all my corals look fine, and they're all LPS. I guess the consensus is it's okay to run it around 11, but
Yep.
like much higher.
Yeah,
I would.
yeah, with LPS it is.
Even with SPS though, like you can do it as long as you're stable. I don't think I'd want to go much higher than 11, like kind of like the upper limit. But even just reducing your water change to once a week, if your salt was pumping it up, it's so high. I mean, a chunk could be.
I only do the water change about every 10 days.
Yeah.
And I do it because I start to get some algae on my sand bed, and I'm guessing when I get this algae reactor going and established, I'll be able to hold off 2 or 3 weeks if I want to, because I bought a big one, I think, for my tank. It should be able to take care of my needs.
Yeah, I mean the other option too is just starting to look at maybe a doser in 2-part and they can control it. Yeah. It's the only
Hey, Dev. Oh, so sorry.
Yep.
So, I'll be getting a doser for my 65, and I'm planning on the core box one that Oro has.
Yep.
But so I know I'm gonna be running 2-part and probably magnesium, and I have that one spare head. Should I just go ahead and use that head, the other head, to like put more phytoplankton into the tank?
You can for sure.
I
Yeah.
just started that like right now.
Like one of my buddies uses his for his auto top off. He just kind of calculated it and figured it out. Not 100%, but does that or magnesium or yeah, phytoplankton. What else have I used? Done vodka with it. Trace elements. Yeah, pretty much anything you want. Phytoplankton is good. I don't dose mine daily. I just randomly add it every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I do that to my 13 because I have the clam in there. Yeah.
No, should they get? I thought about adding a phytoplankton to the doser one of these days, maybe. I kind of ran out of heads, so future to-do list. Fighting with the corals. Torch had flatworms. I don't think I've ever seen flatworms on a torch before. That's unfortunate there. Can't continue. Dip everything, man. Trust nothing. Doug, otherwise. Rookie Reefer. It's working.
Hey, Rookie.
Oh, that boy. Helping you get through the workday. Ricky was showing off some of the lovely Australian stuff. It's funny the difference on different parts of the world and the prices of the corals. You know, some stuff is super cheap down there and it's a fortune for us, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
So, when you guys put stuff in your tank, like LPS and softies and stuff, how much do you guys pay a lot of attention on flow and where it goes, or do you just throw it wherever you want? Take a look at it.
Yes, today I just moved my hammer from. I had it in an area where at first didn't get that much flow, and then I forgot that I moved my power head to the other side of the tank where now it gets a lot of flow. And I just moved it closer towards the power head, and now it's like perfect. It's nice and open.
Nice.
I brought my dad on this, but my dad on his 45 does not get the flow, and he has a torch in a very high flow area, and I feel like it's going to die here very soon if I don't move it myself, which I may have to do.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference. Like even I had like a toadstool, and it went from like falling over, like won't stand up anything, to super happy just by moving it over, 4 or 5 inches to a higher flow area.
Yeah, same with that Gani. That coral I just showed you guys, I had to move that Goniopora over maybe like 3 to 4 inches, a little bit closer to the glass, where I'm sure the flow is bouncing off the glass a little bit more. It's over just the last 2 or 3 days. It's looking a little bit. I really should do something about that. But it's really kind of shriveling up or just not opening as nicely, over like 3 inches.
Yep. Yes, like some corals, it's crazy the difference. Like it's super picky, or certain things where they're happy, otherwise they're not. So you got to find those magic spots.
Yeah, like see, here's my dad's torch, and it like today when I woke up, it was nice, big, and happy, and then right now it's just like, and then
torch is like a fair amount of flow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then the hammers. I mean, I've seen this purple tip hammer gotten really big before, and right now it's not liking it. It used to be on the rock right there, then snapped off. I don't know why. And then my dad has this little Gonapora. I haven't seen it like a long time. I think it's actually starting to die because it's in so much high flow. And I've told him so many times to put it in like the regular low flow zone. He never does it, and he doesn't want my hands in the tank.
Yeah, that's no good. Well, there's no
You should
point
get a
if
graph.
yeah, if you know it's dying, I mean, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Gonioporas.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, Gonioporas can be harder. I know sometimes they're picky. Like one tank they'll do great, and another they'll do not so great.
Yeah.
I
almost want to move it to my tank.
I have good luck with Gonioporas that have long tentacles. The ones that have the shorter tentacles, no luck at all. They die within days. I don't know what it is.
I've had really good luck with this red one.
Yeah?
I want a red one so bad.
A bit hardier.
Nice.
I found one on my local forum. The guy's breaking down his tank. He's selling it, but it's like, I think like 3 inches is its base. And for $40, I'm thinking about buying it.
Yes.
That's not bad. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I mean, I got my Gonapora that's upstairs in my 13 for $5.
That's a wicked deal.
And I've grown it out.
Nice.
Yeah, my LFS was like, oh, here's $5 frags. I saw it, and I bought it.
Oh, I wish I had those $5 frags. I think $20 is the cheapest I ever see one for.
I love when you see a LFS trying to sell like a recovering Yanni. They almost never recover, but they'll like still have a little price on it, and it's like half receded.
Yeah, I know.
There's no way I'm touching that coral. I'll give you $1 for it. Maybe sell it in a couple days.
It's got the red one too. Yeah, Rick, you got all the Gonnies down there. Really crazy in your tank. Now 5 heads.
Hey, maybe I should try out Agani. Next time I see one.
They're
You
cool
should.
corals.
They're really nice.
Yeah, they're really nice soft U coral.
And some of the green ones and other colors, like pretty decent size, I guess, colonies of them for pretty cheap. Like the red ones are a little bit more pricey.
Yeah.
I had a nice pink one for a while, but sadly I lost after a while.
Yeah, that's the thing with Gonnies. They'll grow massively, but they'll just die off after a while.
Yeah, I know. Sadly, my down. I had a bunch last November. I had a bunch of issues with my tank. So that was no fun. I think it was during that time. But so far, now everything's happy and thriving again. So maybe we're in another world.
Wait, I'm confused by King of Souls post. He said he bought a Gonapora with 3 heads for $40.
They're kind of one thing. Are you sure it's not like a torch? Or 3 single little polyps on it?
That's just...
Feel sinking.
I don't think Gonaporas have heads. Maybe he's talking about like polyps.
Might be. That's a tiny frag if it is, but as long as it's happy.
And for $40, that's really expensive.
Yeah.
Unless it's like.
Do any of you guys have experience with like scully corals?
I've seen at my local fish store whole colonies of Goniopora for $25.
Oh wow,
that's good.
They're about almost 6 inches.
Nice.
Actually,
where do you live? I want to
like
move
8
there.
inches.
That's cool. These are really neat looking ones.
Yeah. It's just that at my local fish store, it's a wholesaler, so they rarely get in those corals, so you have to get it or it's not going to be out for a while.
Snap it up when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've been looking for a pink bird's nest for like over a month now.
Oh, that's another thing that bleached out while I was gone, my pink bird's nest.
Oh no.
Yeah. And my green bird's nest is just has awesome polyp extension. I don't know. For some reason, I don't like the pink bird's nest. I thought I did. Then after I got one, it didn't do so great in my tank. But the green bird's nest sure is doing really great. It's grown like another ranch.
Oh, nice. It was happy.
Yeah. can't wait to put it in my 65, but it'll have to go in there after I come back from another vacation.
Yeah.
And what's awesome about this vacation is I'm going to Hawaii. I'm going snorkeling, and I'm going to see a bunch of yellow tangs. That's my goal.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Hawaii will be fun.
Yeah.
Just throwing out there one more time. Next week's live stream, I'm like 90% sure I'm having Ecotech come on. So if you guys have any Ecotech specific questions or stuff you want to know, let me know.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I'll be on that live stream.
Excellent. All right.
I actually have a few questions for the Nio skimmers.
All right, some Nio stuff. Okay, I'm just trying to make a bit of a list to get some stuff to bring up. So King just posted that one picture. The camera's not picking it up at all, but yeah, definitely a nice Ganipora. Looks really good.
One thing I don't
Doesn't
have too
show.
much of in my tank is Copepods. I got Mandarin like a very long time ago, and he ate all of them up. So I occasionally see one or two, but not too much anymore. Just looking at my glass.
Yeah. How big's your tank?
20.
20?
He ate them. He
Yeah.
ate a lot of them, and
Oh,
he like blew off the whole population.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to, in a smaller tank, you'll probably have to supplement and add Copepods every once in a while to keep it stocked.
Yeah.
Mandarins, generally you need a fairly big tank for them, so it's good to keep adding them just to make sure that guy doesn't go hungry. Is he eating frozen food?
No, he died.
The Mandarin?
Yeah.
That would explain it.
Yeah.
You generally want a pretty big tank with tons of Copepods to keep them happy.
They eat 2,000 Copepods a day.
How many?
2,000 Copepods a day, roughly.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Mine's a busy guy.
Yeah.
My LS sells mandarins that are like I'd like a lot more. They're like $50, 45, I think. They sell mandarins that are eating frozen food, like mysis and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tank raised.
Always buy one that's eating frozen if you can. It's make your life easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like mine usually will have like a bite of mysis at night, and the rest of the day he just hunts. So he eats a little bit of mysis, but for the most part he hunts all day. Makes me happy though when I see him at least go for one little chunk, just because I know he'll do a little better then.
So with my scully coral, my clowns they don't host it because they don't but they really reach into the mouth of the coral and kind of like spread it open. They've been bugging it a lot lately. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, certain corals will be annoyed, and clowns can kill corals too if they're not tough enough for him.
Huh.
So I have seen that before, so you might want to maybe move it if they are
Stick their mouth into the mouth of the scully, like almost as if we know there's mysis in there that we saw you get fed the other night.
Yeah.
One topic I just remembered is something about your silicone. It won't stay forever. Like I'm already seeing my tank's only 8 months old, and some's like nipped away. The fish looks like it nipped them. The silicone, some of my silicone, especially that clownfish.
Really, eh?
Yeah, it's right near my clownfish's hammer coral. The worst.
Yeah, be careful when you're eating glass too.
Yeah, most of the time it's from smacking with the razor blade.
See it? Wait, I'll get a better light. There, you see it? See, munched away right there.
Huh. Crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, the clownfish is like so aggressive.
Does he attack you if you go near his coral?
No, he used to.
Oh, mine does.
He attacks other fish.
Yeah. Mine goes after me if I go near his mother.
My clownfish are definitely scared of me.
Hey, Angel.
Pay $50 for a trained mandarin. Yeah.
The skimmer. I'm just trying to find the right mode for it. Go crazy.
Yep.
No.
Have you all seen that new mushroom?
That's ridiculously expensive.
That's like 10 grand.
Breaker.
Oh,
it's incredible though.
It's cool looking, but it's ridiculous.
Wait, isn't it like $1,000?
I have like a 1/100th frag of that. That's all I can afford.
I have green jawbreakers in my tank. That's a green jawbreaker near the zoas, right there. That's a green jawbreaker. That's a green jawbreaker, right there.
Yeah. So this is I'll just show you guys on YouTube for a second. This is the one we were talking about. $10,000 for that jawbreaker coral. This is.
I'm surprised it didn't go for more. In all honesty, some bounce mushrooms I heard were going for that at Macna.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. So this is one of Jake's Refield articles on it. Yeah, it's crazy. Just the
It just doesn't look.
colors. Like it looks fake, but it amazes me that something like that is actually like natural and kind of vibrant, crazy array of colors.
Well, you know, over time that coral won't be as expensive anymore, and once it's not,
Yeah,
that will be our chance to get it.
5 years.
Maybe in
from
like
now,
20
we'll
years we can all afford them.
Yeah, exactly.
20 years.
Hey, you gotta
Yeah, but no way I'm spending that much money on a coral. The most I would spend on a coral is maybe $150 at the most.
What's the most that you guys have all spent on one single?
One single coral?
The most money I spent on a coral was $40. Not too bad.
Probably the clam at around $120. I'm gonna say is probably my most expensive.
Yeah, my most expensive, yes, will be my clam.
Yeah,
it was only 60, so.
Yeah, so I think
the most. Yeah, if you're counting like a lot of coral, most money I spent on like a bunch of coral is 120, but that's the most.
Oh, my most expensive day was up there.
I mean, this is you guys' most expensive coral purchase ever?
For one single coral.
Corals purchase?
No, corals. No, they're
not a haul. I mean, yeah, not like a coral haul, but like just your single most expensive piece that you've ever spent on a coral.
Oh, wait,
yeah, mine is corals.
I bought a couple that were like big colonies, but there was multiple
like,
colonies, so I don't know what I paid for a single one.
I'll take back my clam price. Actually, I spent $150 on a wall hammer, and then it died 2 weeks later.
Oh,
I hate wall hammers. They're so finicky.
Holy
That's happened to me as well.
Yeah, again, that was like my
Really
first coral.
Slow.
Dang, Sean, $450 on a single polyp of Fruit Loop. Woo! Oh, is that? Damn, that's pricey. I was
Have
actually.
You guys seen the condos? They're like 150 a polyp.
Really? I was supposed to get some off a guy, but then his tank crashed and they all died. I was like,
damn. So I feel bad for that guy. The most I've ever spent, I think, was on my gold torch. He's pretty big, and maybe that Scully probably an equal amount, but
yeah.
I think it was 170 for the torch and like 160 for the Scully.
Like, I have some pretty expensive corals, but not that I paid that. Like, I have a torch that I traded somebody for, but it was worth, like, he said it was worth like $280 or something for that, like, purple gold bang guy torch or whatever. But I'm gonna say 100 and something on a single coral.
So, guys, would you say this is an Australian plate coral?
It's a plate coral. I have no idea what type, though. A long tentacle plate coral?
What?
It looks like a long tentacle plate coral.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you where it's from,
I like
but
it a lot.
Yeah, it's a nice color.
Yeah, I feel like it's from Australia, but.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to really know where it's from, though.
My A can.
But.
Yeah, true. My A cans are also orange, like turned orange. They are red. I love A cans now for that because they look so nice. So I'm gonna definitely get more A cans.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been collecting too. I like A cans; are really cool. You get some really cool colors in them too.
I saw some A cans, but they're just so tiny at the store. I didn't want to get them.
Do any of you guys shop online?
Once in a while.
I do not shop online.
I've done it.
I really want to get a pink booby chalice, but I can't find it anywhere locally.
Oh no. Yeah, I've bought online. Maybe I was gonna say probably about 4 times. I've done like group buys and that type of stuff. One time I was kind of disappointed because it looked nothing like the picture, but the rest of times it was a pretty good experience. Basically, if it's a good enough price. But it's the only thing I always worry about, right? Like, is it Photoshop? Are they amping up the colors? Does it actually look like that?
Yeah, or they're using gel filters or.
Yeah. Holy smokes, those Scullies are expensive.
Scullies are expensive.
I've never seen one locally. I was just looking on this one site. $350 for that thing.
Oh, that's a lot. I paid. Mine is green, red with a little bit of teal in it, like teal blue, and it was I think only 140 or maybe 160 at the most.
Yeah.
It's actually nicer.
That must mean it's a different grade.
Yeah, Aussie Warpaint.
It's probably because there are different grades. Some are more expensive than the others.
Yeah, but it's so subjective. It's like whatever people think looks nice is what costs more. I mean, really, they have just the same amount of color, just different colors.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always on Aqua SD. When they post their things on Reef to Reef, I always go look through
You know
them to
what
see.
really annoys me that I'm looking at on my cans?
Go ahead.
Yeah, look, on my cans, you see that little piece of Bryopsis? I have one little piece of Bryopsis on there.
Take it out.
You better get that out of there.
Yeah, man.
It's just one little piece.
Just take your fingers, pull it off.
It's not gone away.
Yep, you don't want Bryopsis in your tank.
Yeah.
So no, it's no fun.
Anyhow, when I'm looking on Aqua SD,
Yep.
there's
Yeah, it's
coral
definitely
listing,
Bryopsis.
and I can't tell the difference between like one or another. They look so similar, like especially with foliage. One will be going for like 100, 150, and one will be like the Holy Grail, and it'll be like $800.
That's crazy, eh? It looks like pretty much the same.
It really is.
The funny thing
Yeah,
is,
they look really close to the same.
you can get it and bring it home, and it might not even look the same under your lights either, right?
Yeah, it could totally change colors or.
So that's the other kind of funny thing. Like you don't know if it's gonna look the same.
Yeah, that's
Unless you're using the same lights and similar spectrums to which you're running your tank at, it's hard to say. Right there.
Yeah, I've had that happen a lot.
My cans turn different, for example.
So
they're closed up right now, though.
Yeah. I think I might do. A few people have asked me for like my lighting profiles, the spectrums and stuff. So I think I might do a little video on that one soon. On this whole the light changes setup.
You run out of the Radion lights, right?
Yep.
You know, I kind of want to. This guy on the forums. He's selling these two XR15s. I think they're Gen 3 Pros.
Yep. That's what I'm running.
For like, they're like. He's selling them for $475 for both of them, and he had them for like 6 months.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Kind of want to buy that, but yet again, I'm getting the Chinese black boxes for like 2 of them for $70. So
yeah, that's a trade.
I mean, I do want to try it, but the only thing I don't really like about the Rayon lights that I would prefer just to get like an AI is that it doesn't have the programming already installed. You have to get the Reef link. But yet again, I guess the trade-off would be you can connect you can sync all the return pump and the power heads with the lights and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's the trade-off. And
it's basically their mini controller, but
yeah.
For me, I really like to bugger and tweak with things, so I really like the controllability. I like that I can tune the percentage of every LED at what time of the day and like fully customize it. So for me, that's like a big feature of it. I've had like the cheaper lights before too, like generic ones, but I don't know. I love having the control of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I may like ask somebody to trade me.
Yeah.
Just to trade for a Kessel for an XR15, just so I can have an XR15.
Yeah.
Because I can use the XR15 over either my 13 or my 5 gallon. Just hang it.
I love them. I think they're great lights personally. I even have one on my summoner.
I just I am in love. I traded well, didn't trade, but I sold off my I just stepped on my cat. He ain't happy with me. I just traded away or sold Ocean Revive T47 or whatever for this Kessel, and everything's popping and looking great. Not that it looked bad with the Ocean Revive, but and BRS just did a really cool video on the Kessels that validated my purchase, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, I like their investigative series. They have some good stuff in there.
Oh, I really like that because it's hard to take. Like they really try to just break it down to science and fact, and you know, everybody has an opinion, and there's not really a wrong way of doing it, but everybody has an opinion of what works, what doesn't, how to do it.
Exactly.
They're pretty unbiased.
Yep, no, exactly. I mean, honestly, pretty much any light that's quote-unquote reefing light, as long as it has decent output, is going to grow coral. Some lights might make your corals look a bit better, or they'll bring out different colors, but most of them are still going to grow coral, right? It's those little things that it does. Like the Chinese black boxes, they'll still do a great job growing coral, but you might not be able to have that controllability, or maybe you don't have that slight extra color pop. It's just little things. But they're all going to grow for the most part and do the same thing, as long as they're generally the right spectrum. Like one might grow a bit
It's kind of
faster, one
funny
might
how
not, so yeah.
it's kind of funny how you're broken into the hobby. Like when I first started, I just thought to myself, like, this Kessel is $400. There's no way I'll ever spend $400 on a light.
Yeah.
And I was getting like the Chinese boxes, and now I'm like, oh, I guess I gotta. For some reason, I gotta have it, so I'll buy it. Or same thing with the corals. I'd buy like two $20 frags and be like, shit, that was $40.
Yep.
You know, or maybe 3 of them, and now I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna see this coral again. I gotta buy it.
Reefing's a hell of a drug.
Yep, it's funny how that
It
changes,
is.
man. It is. It's like
Oh,
your
it is.
corals are your crack, and you're like, so I need more corals. That was brighter. I want it.
I always
Yeah.
tell my girlfriend when I buy a new coral, I used again.
I used it again,
Yeah.
baby. I got my fix. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend kind of hates me because my fish tanks are #1, and then she's next. And she's just like,
you're not supposed to
That's
tell her
That's
that.
a true
kinda
story.
it's like, I'm sorry, I spend majority of my money on my fish tank, so they kind of have it's kind of more prioritized at the moment.
Yeah. She must love
I mean,
you.
we've only been dating for like about a month or so.
Yeah.
Don't worry, whatever happens, your fish tank won't leave you.
It's true.
Exactly.
You're
That's what
safe,
I
man.
told you.
You're safe.
That's exactly what I
Girlfriend's
told
probably
you.
cheaper than your fish tank, though.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it kind of is. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I did spend $1,000.
You're like anything off the dollar menu because I had to save my money for coral.
Yeah.
99 cents, baby. What do you want? We're on a budget. Let's see Frank's coming in next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is. I don't know. I'm bad though. Like half my coral decisions or whatever is like super bright and colorful. I'm like, oh, I don't have this color. I know. It's a good addiction though. You got something pretty to show for afterwards.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Beat spending on
It's
stuff.
kind of like a lucrative thing when people come over and haven't seen your reef tank before, and they're like, they think, I don't know, they're used to seeing them in like a doctor's office, and obviously nothing like the reefs that we have in our home. It's like prestigious. Like, oh my god, you have a reef tank?
Oh yeah.
It's salt water?
What? I'm always glowing when people come over and stare at my tank. They're like, it's so nice. Da, da, da. It's funny.
It's nice to hear that because they have no clue. They just look at it. Oh, it looks nice.
Yeah.
But they don't know actually how much money goes into it and how long it takes to make it look that nice.
Did you guys recently see that video circulating on some of the forums where I guess a guy posted some home security footage of his ex-wife and
like
her boyfriend?
Windex or something in the tank?
Like all sorts of stuff.
That's
I
nasty.
literally, I don't know what I would do. That is because like it's the money and it's the time and it's not even your time.
It's the animals.
It's that
and stuff
2 years
too,
time
like,
it took him to develop that tank and everything.
I know, but it's not even just hurting him. You're also like killing all the animals, the corals, the fish. Like that's just nasty.
Yeah, I guess it could be considered. I don't really know what he did to get to the bottom, or if he called the cops, or I'm sure he did. I would be going to small claims at least.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he had a big tank full of coral and full of fish, lots of tanks in there and everything.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Most stuff survived it though. When I was reading down the thing, he was able to figure it out and do big water changes, and most things survived.
Oh, that's good at least. It's still sad that someone would do that, but
yeah, I mean that's probably the lowest thing somebody could do to me, or to. I mean, I'd almost like rather have like my car stolen.
I know.
Yeah, take my car.
I'll ride my motorcycle. Fuck it. Sorry, excuse my language.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I got insurance for that. This tank took me years.
Exactly.
Yep. Gotta be nice to the tanks. It is true though. Like it's living art that you've built over like years and years. So. Everything's in there's alive. It's all growing.
It's like how much time, I'm not just looking at your tank, but how much time do you guys feel like you put into maintenance or getting something for your aquarium or every week?
I put a whole day into doing a bunch of water changes into 3 tanks, and then
3 tanks.
I spent
You're really
yeah, I have
married to the game.
I had 3 tanks in my room, and then my dad has my 45 in his office, and then I'm planning to get a 250 in the living room downstairs and a 125 upstairs.
Nice.
Your dad's okay with all that?
Yeah, my mom says she's okay with it as long as I have nice fish and nice corals and no mess.
There you go.
But that's kind of hard to do. Like, my room is already kind of messy, and I just like filled up 3 gallons for RO, and I have buckets and gloves everywhere.
Yo, ReefDudes, let me get a wrench.
All right. Say something in the chat.
My roommate and I, we both do leasing for apartments, and he volunteered to let us live at his property, and I'm okay with that because I'd rather not deal with my own residents knocking on my door, telling me silly things like their toilet's not flushing.
Yeah.
So at his property, and I used to have a tank in my bedroom, a smaller nano, and then of course my 45, which is still kind of a nano.
Yeah.
And I guess some older lady went into the office, and I had 2 lights. They totally looked like I could be growing something funny in the apartment, like hydroponic lights or whatnot. And was like, hey, in apartment 1043, I think they're growing weed in there because the lights. She's like, I walk by every night and the lights are on constantly. And my roommate was like so embarrassed. He works there. He's like, I know the guy, and I think it's just some fish tanks.
Oh, that's funny. All right,
I'm
so
just imagining with 5 tanks what that might look like from outside.
so Narcosis, that link you just dropped, someone found a 3-foot bobbit worm hiding in their tank. How do you not notice 3-foot freaking worm? That is crazy, eh?
Well, man, those things can hide, dude. Those things are pretty good at not being noticed.
That's still crazy to think how big it is to never have noticed that. That's crazy.
I've seen this video before.
Yeah. That's
insane.
That thing is massive. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like most of the time, bobbit worms come out at night, and most people don't even look at their tank at night.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
I
love my tank at night.
Yeah, you know me. I'm going to see them pods. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Something that I found in my tank once before was I found a soft shell snail in my tank. I looked in my tank about 3 a.m. in the morning. I found a soft shell snail in my tank. I ended up getting that sucker out real quick.
Yeah. You never know what you're gonna find, eh?
Yeah.
In the chat, they're talking about Sanjay's little 29-gallon tank he's had for 20 years. He says he's done a water change in 5 years on it.
I saw that video.
Yeah, that's crazy. 5 years, no water change. Yeah, it was a little 29-gallon softy tank, just super easy tank.
I was totally bragging about not doing water changes.
He's just like, yeah, I'm getting too old to haul water up the stairs.
Yeah, I can't carry 5 gallons up these steps any longer.
Yeah, I was laughing at Jake's videos. He's like, you didn't have time in 5 years? He's like, yeah, too much work.
Well, and Coral Fish 12G recently put out a video too where he didn't do a water change in a tank for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was
his
softies, but
yeah, I mean softies you can get away with it, right? They're like dirty water.
Well, yeah, but all the softies that are alive in that tank are like extremely like, oh, this was my first coral softie, you know?
Yeah. No, they're for sure easy stuff.
Green button polyps, like that ain't going nowhere. Can't kill them.
If you tried.
Hey, Dev, question. So right now I'm acclimating a Zoa to put on my 5 gallon because I want to put a coral in there.
Yep.
And it came from my 13. And I had it in there for about like 15 minutes now. How longer should I have it in?
It came from your other tank?
Yeah.
Is your parameters the same-ish?
Yes.
Oh, you can just throw it in. Honestly, if it's the same, you can throw it in. You're mainly for fish and corals and all that type of stuff. Like you're acclimating if it's a different alkalinity or like a different pH, that type of thing, different temperature. If all that stuff's the same, then it's not really an issue. You can just throw it in. Okay.
Well, I just did it to just make sure.
Yeah. Hey, better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah.
He lost a bunch. Took everything to color. 3 coralfish, 12 G's. Tank was covered in algae. Yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Well, it was, but it wasn't like straight like
He did
pure
say his
algae.
parents were feeding it.
And it was kind of cool for him to show,
Mhm.
you know, hey, I really haven't done much on this tank, and someone else is taking care of it and still alive.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one. I'll check
I
it
mean,
out
I do got to give him that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Especially someone else is taking care of it, even if you're not around anymore.
Oh yeah.
Was this a tank he took with him, or that he left at home with the parents?
He left.
No,
at
yeah, he
home.
left it at home. It was
Okay.
at home for 2 years while he was in college.
Gotcha. Ah, good on his parents for taking care of it for that long.
No, they just fed it and that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
They had to have been putting like top off water and stuff though for the ATO.
well, yeah. He probably had an ATO on it, I think.
Fill
But
this bucket when
yeah,
it's empty.
it was.
Yeah, that's still. I don't know. That's still pretty good then.
Yeah.
I'd be worried leaving it with somebody on.
Well, plus he showed that they were overfeeding the crap out of the tank. He showed like the top of the sponge, and it had like maybe 200 to 300 pellets on top of it.
Oh wow.
Like literally a whole bottle of pellets on top of the actual sponge.
Huh. So on that note, I turn off my return pump when I feed so that most of the food gets eaten, not sucked into my overflow.
You don't have like one of the little cuppy things like I made for my
No
for my
cuppy
auto
thing.
feeder?
No, or what's the cuppy thing? Which one?
Oh, you feed it and it like holds the food at the top.
Oh,
Feeding ring.
Yeah, basically.
So my auto feeder is in my sump, so you don't see it. So it gets sucked up to my return pump and then spits out food into the tank. So that
Oh yeah, I forgot.
when that one's happening, then I leave the flow on and don't worry about it because it gets shot far enough across the tank that I don't have to worry about it. But if I feed frozen food or something, then I turn it into feed mode, which just keeps the pump at a trickle, so all the food just gets sucked in the overflow.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
It's worth it, you know.
Yeah, feed mode's awesome. I love it for that. So definitely worth it. I don't know, less stuff in the sump to decompose and clog my filter sock. And then there's more stuff actually gets eaten too. And I think a lot of the corals will eat those little particles. They'll catch in their tentacles as it's floating around the tank. There's lots of good benefits there.
Oh yeah, man, you'd be surprised what they eat.
Mhm.
They eat like everything.
Oh yeah, they do. Like a lot of time when I feed my fish too, I'll take the leftover little bits of like the mysis and juice and whatever, and that stuff will spray over the corals.
You don't have a clam, do you?
I used to. It died. Something ate it.
I always
What's
think they're
that?
sweet.
Yeah, I'll buy one again one day when I find a good deal. But yeah, something on the bottom. Actually, I think something from my salmon ate it. It's literally like there's a hole in the bottom of the shell, and it was just like.
Do you have bristle
probably,
worms?
I've never seen one, but like possibly. In my nano tank,
I had a
before,
bristle
had
worm bother mine real bad before.
Yeah, I've
Probably
never.
your clam.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will eat a clam. So that's what I learned. Don't put it on the sand bed. So
Wow.
in my nano
I
tank. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was gonna get like a bag of bristle worms because I think they're pretty good in the cleanup group area, and for my 65. And now that you just said that, I think I'll hold off on those bristle worms though.
I feel like people that have them, they live with them and kind of deal with them because they're already there and they do. But I don't think a lot of people just like blatantly add them to their tank.
Yeah, I kind of.
Bristle worms? I do.
They're a cleanup crew. For the most part, they don't really cause any issues, except for clams. They can eat them.
Yeah, I'll just get some mangrove.
I'm not a fan, and when I see them, I go and get in my older tank. I just got a what's the shrimp? The big coral banded shrimp.
Yep.
Or there's the crab, the arrow crab, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Those things either one of those will just demolish those.
Yeah, I have tons of brittle storms. Those guys are like I throw those guys in all the time. I got tons of the baby ones. Those I see those little dinky arms hanging out everywhere.
Did a water change earlier today. My A cans are looking fat.
Excellent. That's always good to hear. I've been trying to slowly work more things off my sand bed to like open it up a bit, but it's the problem. You run out of space for stuff.
It's hard. Then you just keep buying more corals, and then you throw them on the sand bed in the meantime, and
yeah,
That's what I do at least.
Having the frag rack in my sump helped quite a bit to free it up, but
That's a really awesome idea.
And same water. Then I even picked up the same light, so everything's like move stuff around, nothing's shocked. So check out
You
this.
have a radio down there?
Sure do.
Like an XR15 or an XR30?
XR15.
Have the light
Nice.
on a opposite cycle of your tank lights?
I sure do. And it does a great job of boosting the pH.
You the man, ReefDudes.
Oh yeah, buddy. That and the Chaeto reactor come on at night. It's great.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that thing next about the Chaeto reactor.
Yep.
I'll probably have to do something similar. What kind of a photo period do you have that Chaeto reactor on?
I believe it's about 16 hours that I have mine at.
Oh, I want to show what my clowns are doing because they're all three of my fish are doing it right now. To that scully, they just like beat up on it.
Turn your camera on. Let's see.
They are trying to host the scully.
Yep.
Well, my Melanaris is doing it too.
Yeah, he's probably trying to sleep in it or get something off his skin. Or
Well, they all like kind of stick their mouths in it.
Huh.
Scare them away.
Yeah, I don't know about the wrasse unless he's picking at something, but the clowns kind of look like they're hosting it. The wrasse almost looked like he was picking at something.
I don't think that's good.
Everyone's really photo. No, I don't think it's a good thing either because it closes up the coral.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like the second the wrasse gets near it, they get near it.
Huh.
They're actually probably trying to protect it. The wrasse might be fucking with it. They're probably trying to protect it. Use the language.
Well, that's what they think, but they're the one. They stick like half their head into the mouth of the coral, like actually spread it open, like as if they're trying to find food.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what they do to like carpet anemones and stuff. So they probably think it's a carpet anemone, and they're probably trying to protect it from the wrasse. The wrasse might be looking for something. You might have a pest or something.
Yeah, I see the wrasse picks a skeleton down here.
Yeah, so there could
he
be.
Finds. There.
Yeah, there's probably little bugs and other critters down below it that the wrasse is picking off.
Dr. Woe said that's a baby Eunice, not a bristle. I don't know who he's talking to.
Somebody in the chat was saying they had 19-inch long bristleware. Oh, that's huge. So I showed some of you guys earlier. This is my latest creation. I built a little kind of cup thing.
That sounds like a bobbit.
Yeah. Built a little cup thing to sit on top of my skimmer lid to hold carbon for my duo zone. Should work well. Just waiting for my ORT probe to show up. I think I got pretty much everything else, so should be good. I'm really curious to see how that works out.
What'd you buy?
Well, I bought a new ORT probe because mine was buggered, but so I'm gonna try running ozone on my tank for a bit. But I got on my skimmer lid, I cut some acrylic to match the circle of the skimmer lid, so it flits on, and I put pieces of like inside and outside, so I made like a donut-shaped tray that I can put carbon inside. So if there's any excess ozone coming out, it'll be absorbed by the carbon rather than venting into the room.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's my latest creation. It's kind of the slickest way I could think of building something. Because putting a big bag on the bottom seems like a waste because the middle stuff would never touch anything. So this way it should hopefully absorb it all. So hopefully that shows up in the next week or so and I can start that little project. It's going to be good.
So I think I'm going to go ahead and run this Chaeto reactor over here for now and just make sure it's something I actually do want to do.
Yeah, you might as well.
Before I plummet down to the bottom.
Exactly.
And then decide later that it sucks or it's just not what I want to do.
Run it for a few weeks.
The other
option working well, then yeah, plummet in.
The other alternative was going to be to buy one of those Santa Monica algae scrubbers, like the drop ones that you throw in the little sump area there. So, I mean, but I just wanted to be a cool kid. I figured everyone else is doing the algae reactors these days.
The do-it-yourself algae reactor is a lot cheaper, dude.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm in the process of making one.
Nice. No, that'll be good stuff.
The algae scrubbers are about 120, I think.
So
Santa Monica's?
The upflow or the
the Santa Monica
ones?
drop scrubbers? The upflow drop scrubbers.
Okay. I've never used an upflow one, so I don't know how they compare, but I know the waterflow ones or the waterfall ones are pretty efficient. Like I know.
Yeah, there's no way I could run that on this system though.
Yeah, you'd have to drill it and put a sump on it. That's not all one tank you had, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Would be the only option.
But I mean, you could run an upflow in the back. Generally, they just have black
Yeah, that's what I
pipe
was
in the
thinking.
back, so you
And
can
just drop it
cut
in
a
one of these.
square. Yeah.
I did that here, and I was running some Chaeto with a cheap light I had and some egg crate. I made a little Chaeto thing, and I had it stuck in there. But some of the Chaeto was coming out and getting into the filter and it was making a mess. It was working, but it was just making a mess, and some detritus and stuff was getting on it. So every few days I was having to clean it. It wasn't a good system. It was kind of like, just will this work? If it will, then I'll go ahead and build a reactor.
Okay, nice. Ellery Wong. So they're saying it's been running ozone for 4 years, help clarify the water, get rid of cyano from building up and detritus building up. 450 gallon system. Uses an ORP controller, maintains 300 to 350 ms. Runs it 24/7. Nice. Yeah, so on the one that I was doing, I was going to run it for, I think I could try it around 3 hours a night. And then my generator does 5 to 50 milligrams. That's why I was going to put it until around 25 milligrams. So that goes as a start to it. So yeah, thanks for sharing yours. It's always interesting to see people that are using it, how they're running it for how long. I'm excited to try it.
My alk right now is at 12.6 after doing a water change this morning.
Yeah, that's up there.
4.6.
12.6.
That sounds a little high, bud.
How big of water changes do you do?
It's just, it feels like my tank's not consuming anything, and I have a lot of corals, but they're all LPS. And I'm getting gross. I don't know.
What are you doing? Water changing with Reds Coral Pro?
Red Sea, Coral Pro.
12.6.
I'm gonna retest to make sure that wasn't something that was off.
Do you have any SBS?
One little bird's nest and a statosa. A chalice. I think a chalice is still considered an LPS.
And they're all doing fine?
Yeah, everything's doing fine and growing, and even I see growth out of my LPS, my SPS.
What's your nitrate?
I haven't tested it. I would assume it's pretty low though, because of the water changes I've been doing.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been
Use the
upping
API
your water
test to test it, but I hate those tests.
What percentage of a water change you do?
I'm doing 5 gallons, and there's probably about 35 gallons of actual water in this system.
Yeah, anytime my tank gets over 10, it starts to everything starts to bleach at tips.
Well, I record every single time I do my HANA checker test here. I record it. 12.6 is the highest it's ever been, but it's usually between, like, I'd say at the lowest 10.5 and at the highest about 11.8.
Okay. Hey man, keep doing your thing, man. If everything looks good, then can't complain.
I guess not, but that's kind of concerning. Maybe like that's getting close to like 13.
But yeah, if it's at 12s, I think I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah, I'm gonna retest right now just to double check.
So in the chat, just for you guys, they're talking about how nanobubbling essentially formats work and raises work. So yes and no. They kind of do similar things, but different. So nanobubbling essentially turns your tank into a skimmer, and any little particles are going to attach to the bubbles and be raised to the surface, then go to your overflow, and out to your filter socks and your filtration. Or well, what it does, you have so O3 is 3 oxygen molecules, which is very unstable. So it wants to break off, and that third oxygen molecule breaks off. It'll attach to organics and other stuff in your skimmer wherever it's reacting in your tank, and it's going to break them down. So that third one is going to attach to whatever it is and start oxidizing it. Hopefully that's better for audio. Yeah, so it's keeps cutting out. Hopefully that's okay now. Yeah, so it's gonna fall into your tank and kind of oxidize and break down whatever organics are in there. Possibly. I have 2 different headphones on because one of them was having issues. Hopefully it's better now. So they kind of do similar things, but a bit different. All kinds of fun, eh? That's better. I think what it is, I had the headphone for the mic is actually the one that was around my neck, and I think it tries to mute itself if it detects it's off of your head as like a feature of it. So it was kind of like I don't know. Ozone's more touchy. It needs an orb controller and active venting in your room. Yeah, so for that, the venting part, this I'm going to be using carbon on top of my skimmer. All the ventals, so it should absorb anything that's released outwards.
I retested. It looks like it's a little bit more carefully, and it's closer to 11.8.
Okay, that's still high, but a little bit better. How big of a water change do you normally do?
That's that 5 gallons. But after I do my water change, that's pretty normal. I guess for some reason my tank's just not consuming much alkalinity.
Just need some more harder corals in there. Yeah,
I
that's a
guess
very
so.
high alk salt for if you're just doing softies. Like, I mean, Red Sea's good salt, but it's pretty high for what it's in your tank. Unless you have a lot of large stony things, it's not going to consume too much alk. Soft corals don't care. LPS with a skeleton, they will.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't have a lot of SPS, but I just have a lot of LPS and a decent amount at least.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be consuming a bit more of it.
Yep, just got to play with it and find a way to dose a bit less of it. But either way, if things are happy, they're happy, right? Don't really worry about it. But
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna not dose anything for the next week to 10 days till my next water change and record again right before I do a water change. See if I drop like half or a full.
what's
It's not-
your calcium at?
See, I've kind of fell under the methodology of just testing alk more than calcium, but let me check. I haven't done it in a couple weeks, in all honesty.
Okay, Ellery in the chat made a good point too. Magnesium can also affect those numbers. So if your magnesium's really low or really high, that can also cause a big swing in your alk. But if you're doing
Yeah, the last time my calcium's really stable. Any of the last times I've done it, it's been between 390 and 420, and I've tested it a bunch of times, and there's like 10 results in there, all between those numbers.
I would check your magnesium because that has a relationship with alk. Your magnesium kind of buffers it away.
I just remember the numbers off the top of my head. Those look like they're between 1390 and 1440.
Okay, so that's in the right place.
So who knows? Maybe it just isn't hungry for alk.
Could be. You're giving it more than it needs, so.
Is it burning through like double calcium?
What do you mean?
Like,
am I consuming calcium faster than alk?
Yeah, so is your calcium dropping, but your alk is staying stable? Or your alk is rising, your calcium is dropping?
Yeah, not like dramatically, but yeah, because my calcium is, I mean, the lowest it's been in any of the test results I just looked were it was 390. Sorry if you guys picked up that noise.
No problem.
Have you ever tried using the regular Red Sea, not the Coral Pro, the actual purple bucket, just their marine salt?
No, I should maybe give that a shot.
Yeah, I mean, like that salt has more normal parameters. An actual, like Coral Pro to me is like double raised numbers, like alk of 12 and calcium of 450. Calcium is like okay, but the alk is like way
up there.
How's your colorations? I mean, are you like losing coloration in zoanthids and stuff like that since the alk is so high?
No, not at all. I mean, I have never noticed much of a difference in coloration. The only time I notice a difference is for the better, and that's when I'm dosing like some fuel or feeding reefroids.
Yeah, like okay.
I guess I got nothing to complain about when you say it, but just the number is like, a lot of people don't want to be that high, I guess.
But at the end of the day, if your tank's used to being there and everything's happy, then you don't really need to worry about it too much, right?
Yeah, but one thing I worry
sodium.
about is introducing new corals.
Yes.
That are like.
Yeah,
That are coming from like an 8 system.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, no, definitely you want to really slowly acclimate them if it is something that's that big of a swing to introduce it. Like I would give it really slow acclimation to be safe.
Like just drip out something, acclimate something for a couple hours.
Yeah, the longer the better, really, if it's doing that big of a swing. But
I mean, most things I've just thrown in there. I've had nothing, no coral death, other than an acorn falling on top of a different type of acorn.
yeah, no, and if you start getting to SPS, you got to worry about more. But with the LPS, you're fairly safe. Some of them can have issues. Like I've seen some where the flesh could deteriorate or come off of them eventually. But most of the time, it's just as long as it's stable, they'll adapt. It's when it eases into it.
So,
Is
so what is your
considered
pH?
LPS or SPS?
That's what
Pull that up.
yeah.
I don't think I've recorded very much of that, but yeah, I don't have anything recorded of that, to be honest. But I know I've tested it before. I just can't remember the number. Too many numbers to try to remember.
Should be pretty high if your alk is at 12.
I don't think it's that high. I think it was at like 8 or 8.2-ish.
Really?
Yeah, let me look at the API test kit. I can test it right now. Because it's not at 12 due to like dosing calc. It's at 12 due to, I guess, how concentrated my salt is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely coming from your salt because that stuff has pretty high alk.
Where's that API test kit?
I do gotta call her quits pretty quick though, because I gotta run out of town to help somebody some tank setup stuff. FYI.
What time is it there, ReefDudes?
It is 5:12 p.m.
Oh.
Yep.
So you're like 3 or 2 hours behind or something?
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be out of town somewhere in an hour, so we gotta head out pretty darn quick. Probably already cut it for time. But yeah, no, it's definitely your salt, man. Like your salt has super high alkalinity, so you can either, if you're worried about if you do want to lower it, I'd just look for a different salt that has a lower alk, and then just slowly do mini water changes with that over time, and it'll just slowly lower it. Or just keep doing what you're doing and not worry about it if everything's happy. Yeah, or just do the normal Red Sea salt, not the pro version.
That option actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's probably the simplest option. It's just even just slowly, you just do a little water change every couple weeks, and it'll just very slowly creep it down. Probably the
Do like
safest
10
one,
gallons every week.
Yeah, just slowly creep it down. Exactly.
That's only like, I don't know, 15, no, 20 something %.
Oh yeah. Throw it there one last time. If anyone has any Ecotech specific questions, I'm hopefully going to have them on the live stream next week, so let me know. Any special requests? How about you, Narcosis? Anything you want to know from Ecotech?
I don't use any of their products, so I guess there's nothing I'll need to know.
Fair enough.
Now, if you said ecosystems, now we talking.
Well, maybe we'll work on that for future.
Did you guys all watch the Chasing Coral documentary?
No, I'm gonna have to watch it now. I've heard so much about it the last couple of days.
It's pretty awesome. It's like probably some of the best time lapse footage I've seen of.
It's
absolutely.
Yeah,
I watched half of it.
I heard it.
I couldn't stomach all of it.
Yeah, there's lots of pretty amazing shots of corals, but also very sad from what I heard.
Yeah, it is. At a certain point in the documentary, they're basically diving off of this boat that's like a bar, like a lagoon bar kind of, and they're just like so depressed because underneath the boat they're like documenting all this stuff, and they come up to all these people like partying and just having a good time who are completely oblivious. It's like two different worlds, and it's like right under their feet.
I know, that's crazy, eh?
Well, yeah. Sad. I mean, all of us reefers, we go to the ocean. That's all we want to see is coral and fish.
Yep.
A lot of these people, they just go down to Cancun and stuff. They just go down there to party, and it's like, dude, that's not what it's for.
Yep. Oh, on a note, whoever was just talking about buying an upflow algae scrubber,
Yeah.
CJ is doing a contest for one right now. If you want to enter
Oh.
that, CJ's Aquariums. He's giving,
Yeah, I know. That's
giving
where
one.
I actually saw that one.
Okay, yeah, he's giving one away, so it might be worth giving him a little shout out and enter his contest. If anyone wants to try and win one, I think it's ending next week. So.
You might have to hop over there.
Yep, yeah, definitely enter that one. And then
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
hate.
one. Rico's Reef Tank. I know he's working on a contest to give away some coral packs. Not sure how long that one's running yet. And then what else
Yeah.
is on my list? Aaron's Aquarium. I know Nick was trying to support him to go to Macna to do some filming, so he started like a GoFundMe. So another one to check out if any of you guys want to support him.
Wait,
Yeah.
Nick did or Aaron's Aquarium?
Nick started a GoFundMe for Aaron's Aquarium because he keeps saying he wants to go to Macna and I'm not sure about affording it and stuff. So I think Nick started one. So
who's Nick? Who's the YouTube name?
Easy Reefing.
Easy Reefer.
Yeah, he's on a lot of the streams.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, you know what? I hate how people just throw trash in the ocean, not even caring, and they just throw trash, and I hate to see like a bunch of trash in the ocean. It just devastates me.
All right. Tanks and updates. Go look up Plastic Island.
Okay.
Macna 28 thing was a hoax. What? Better not be.
What's a host?
Kyle Aquaria. They said the Macna 2018 Seattle thing was a hoax. Better not be. I was excited to go to that one.
Macna 2018. Where is it supposed to be?
In Seattle.
Is that would be the closest to you, right?
I know. I was really excited when I saw that. Those buggers. That's sad if it is. I'll probably still find a way to go, but that would have been nice and cheap. I could drive down.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive for you to come to America, huh?
Just the flights and stuff. Yeah. Hey, Eddie. All right, boys. I do got to run though, because I got to be somewhere in an hour, and I still got to go pick up the lady from the gym. So I got to call it quits. But thanks everybody for hopping on.
All right, ReefDudes, thanks for the live stream. If anybody still want to stream, jump on Pulse.
Yep, Pulse should be running. So Reef Community Worldwide. Enter that contest for yourself and Algae Scrubber. If you guys want to support Nick, or not Nick, Michael, check out his channel, or I think Nick posted one. All right, guys, have a good night. Cheers.
Thanks, dude.